I just wake up in the morning and I yell a lot, even though it's way too early. It's fun though. Wake up, wake up, wake up! Wake up, wake up. Good morning. Thank you for getting up way too early with Garage Gym Life. We are your Friday morning wake up call. We're going to be riding with you past the 9 o'clock hour because we have a guest coming on at 9 o'clock. Kaevon from Barbells is going to be back today, and he's coming on at the 9:05 hour, 9:05 Eastern time. So we're going to be riding a little bit past. We'll probably go till about 9:45 today, depending on how many questions you guys have for him. I'm John Greaves III. I'm the founder of Garage Gym Life. This is a Garage Gym Life production. If this is your first time checking out the show, thank you for being here. Thank you for giving us a shot. I saw my guy Ego Lift Daily. He is in Asia, and so it's nighttime for him. Yeah, there you go, my man. I see you. I saw him. So welcome to the show. Anybody else, if this is your first time checking out the show, I appreciate you being here. Please do me a favor, hit that like button, hit subscribe. Trying to get to 50,000 subscribers. We kind of slowed down a little bit for a while there, but we are back on the climb again. So I need you guys to help me keep that momentum going. Let's go ahead. Since I mentioned my guy, Ego Lift Daily, let's go ahead and shout out to everybody else who's here in the chat, starting out with my guy, Jay, who for some strange reason was on here at 3:30. I came and I was looking in the studio, getting the show prep together. And I was like, why is Jay on here at 3:30 in the morning? It's 3:30 in the morning, midnight in California. 3:30 in the morning here is when he actually signed in. That is a level of dedication and support that I have that is unequaled. All right, so hey, my man, thank you for being here. Ego Lift Daily again, gang, what's up, man? And then Carlos, who's normally the first guy in the building. Carlos, Jay got you today. Carlos came in at 5:40 a.m. What's good, Carlos? He said, good morning, jolly. What in the world are you saying, Carlos? Good, jolly, good, golly, jolly. I'm not saying that. See that? I know I'm not meant to say that because I can't say it. Just hi. How you doing, man? All right. So I said, and Jared Martin, my guy, Jared Martin, I was talking to him yesterday. Jared actually had a good idea for today's show. And before I forget, I'm going to just say it right now. If you guys are watching and you have Bells of Steel stuff in your home gym, go ahead, take a picture. And then what I need you to do is DM it to me on Instagram at Garage Gym Life. You guys can see it's right there in my handle at Garage Gym Life. And DM it to me. Don't send me any crazy stuff. But send me your Bells of Steel gym pictures, and I'm going to post them to show Kaevon while he's on here. That way he kind of understands how much he means to the home gym community. And also, start getting your questions together. Get ready for him because he's going to be on, like I said, at the 9 o'clock hour. All right, and let's see here. Looks like Jared hurt his back. That's no bueno at all. He said he's up and at it for a chest workout today. Hey, that's right. If the back isn't working, just work the front. There you go. That makes complete sense to me. You know, we're going to ask Kurt about that for a little bit. Kurt is, he's an exercise physiologist, so we can go ahead and ask him about how that works. Let's see here. Jonathan said, where is the Canadian Viking Kaevon? He'll be on here at 9 a.m., Jonathan. I appreciate you checking in. All right. Hey, we got Garage Gym Radio. Hey, what's up, Jake? Dude, I'm angry. Well, I'm not mad at you. I forgot. You live in Indiana. Never mind. I'm mad at Kentucky. We'll discuss that later on. All right. And now let's go ahead and jump right into, because we got a packed show. So I want to go ahead and jump into the items that we got going on here. We're going to go right into news and other things. All right, first news item, and this is big news, all right? That's right, Kurt hit a PR. This is big news, and so as I normally do, if you hit a PR and I get you on here, I'm going to bring you on. And you know what? Let's see here. I'm not going to do this to you. I was going to do it, but I'm not going to do it. We'll just go with this. Welcome, you strong person, you.
What's happening?
You, and welcome to your mustache.
I actually trimmed it down a little bit, and I haven't told anybody, but I've had 3 or 4 people be like, "Hey, there's something different about you."
That's
And I'm
amazing.
like, "Nothing's
Yes,
changed.
I'm
I
in
don't know what
regs.
you're talking about."
I'm actually in
So,
regs.
well, to be clear, the length of the mustache is not regulated. It is simply how far out it can extend from the outer portion of your lip, which the Air Force is a 1/4 inch, and it also cannot extend below
So when you
the
trimmed, you
lower
didn't,
portion of the.
you just trimmed down.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm not going to make
Oh,
it
okay.
shorter. Except for the
Oh,
other day, I made it shorter. We have some family photos yesterday, and I wanted to actually look kind of clean for it instead of
yeah,
just
yeah.
holy crap. So
Dude, I
yeah,
completely
it looks good
understand.
though. Oh,
Oh yeah, yeah. You look like you're ready for the mustache wax sponsorship.
I,
You are
I had
prepared.
hit I had hit yet another PR, both in looks as well as strength.
Heck yeah. So someone came on and said, "Is this still live?" Yeah, we just started. Literally, we've been live for right now 6 minutes, just like Dougie Fresh. 6 minutes, all right. So yes, Nam. I probably didn't say it correctly, but yes, we are live. So you're about to watch Kurt and his PR. And actually, was this the? Is this 2 PRs or is this just one?
So it's actually it's actually it's a lot. There's a lot. There's lots to
I mean,
unpack
it's like,
here.
so you got, I know you got the squat PR. Is the deadlift a PR, or is that
Yes.
something you would do? Okay.
Yep.
All
The
right. So there's
deadlift is
2
a.
PRs,
Yep.
not one, but two PRs. So let's jump right into this first one. We're going to talk about this squat right here. Go ahead, Kurt. Talk us through it. So,
Yep.
all right.
So what you're looking at here, this is actually a 455. My PR prior to this is 435. What's cool about this, at least for me, is I've been doing strongman training for 20 weeks this year and have done literally almost no back squats. All of my stuff has been very specialty. If I was back squatting, I was using specialty bars. I am reviewing the double black diamond from Rep Fitness right now, and so that's what that bar is. And so I was like, well, I'm in what I call an anarchy week. So after I compete, I'll have a week where I just kind of come out in the gym and I'll have a general idea on what I want to do. So I knew I wanted to squat. I knew I wanted to use that bar, and I was working up. And again, like 135, 225, 315, 365, 405, and everything was just flying. And I was like, well, let's just send it at 455. And so 455 flew. What I didn't upload is I threw 10s on the side, and then a small little beautiful angel that lives in his house went running in front of me during my descent on 475. And I don't know, like if I'm in competition and there's already people in front of me, I'm good at channeling that out. But for some reason, it just screwed up my timing. And so 475 ended up failing. But it felt like it was there. So it could have been a bigger PR, but I was happy with 455. It looked really easy. It felt really easy, if I'm being honest. So yeah, without having squatted for 20 weeks, came out and smoked a 20-pound PR. So huge shout out to the Stronger Together team and Andrew Haynes, who is probably a better coach than me.
So I'm going to say, all right. So first of all, for strongman, you do a ton of what you call work for your spine, basically. Like
oh yeah,
yeah, a lot of posterior chain. That's what I'm looking for. I'm tired. Anyway, so a lot of posterior chain work. So I can see. I want to watch the squat again because I want to see how you came up. Yep. Okay. So right there. So I'm seeing you like you're really explosive as you're pushing your back into the bar on the way up. And usually that's, well, I know when I fail, it's never coming right out of the hole. It's like right as I come out of it, right where it's usually my upper back that fails. So I can see that actually makes perfect sense to me that you hit a PR after doing all that posterior chain work, even though you hadn't squatted.
There is some posterior hip
nice.
shift that you can see during that lift. Like I kind of rocked to the back a little bit, but again, like it just
you're able to fight through it,
great.
Man.
Yeah, just felt through it. I mean,
nice.
So obviously it was heavy because there's some technique breakdown. But by no means was it a terrible squat. So yeah, absolute. I felt great. Came in, told my wife, and she knows that with lifting that it's important to me, and so she does a good job of making my priorities her priorities. Wonderful woman.
Nice. Look at that. And got the husband PR too. Shouted out his wife. Look at it. Are you guys checking these? Write all of this down. All right. Mustache tips, squat, how to have a happy marriage. There you go. All
Absolutely.
Right. And I had planned on only showing the squat, but then You told me when I was we're texting this morning, you're like, oh yeah, did you get the deadlift one? I said no, because I saw your video from the meet, but my weeks have been, everything's been crazy, so I didn't see the deadlift. So Kurt was good enough to send it to me, and so you're gonna watch it with me right now. I've not seen this yet. Okay.
Yeah.
So here we go. This is 605.
605.
All
on
right.
a Texas deadlift bar.
Here we go. All right.
Yep.
Strap it up. Boom, boom. All right.
This is after a 12-hour day competing. This is the last event.
That is.
And this, I'm just going to watch it first. So you can see there's a little bit of upper thoracic flexion, but honestly, like, super happy with it. That was such an awesome show. Now, that show, that was officially the longest show I've ever done.
So I'm looking right here. I mean, I'm not, to be honest with you, I don't do the whole, if it's a PR, I expect technique to break down on a PR because your body is doing something it's never done before, right? Especially if you do it in competition. At the end of the day, you're going to be exhausted. There's going to be the breakdown. But that's why it's a PR. You've literally done something you've never done before. What I find impressive is getting it done even when your technique breaks down, right? So I like you're pulling yourself into the bar. That's good. But then right here, it looks to me like you had to fight the bar back in because it goes out away from your body a little bit. And so you can see how much strength you've built, again, posterior chain, because you're able to pull it back in. Because you can see how your weight rocks forward.
Yep.
Right there. Yeah. But you're able to fight it back in. Now look at those hamstrings.
Yeah, everything was firing. Everything was.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
And that's what happens when you got good people too. So at that competition, I swept 4 of the 5 events with the first place. Okay. The car yoke, which was like literally I carried a Volkswagen Bug. That one I got 3rd. And honestly, like the podium there was just amazing. Those guys in that weight class were almost all just absolutely amazing to compete with. I absolutely enjoyed it. So like the Viking press right here at the beginning, these videos, I just threw them up because I didn't want to take time to do it. There's a YouTube wrap up video as well, where I kind of talk about it more, but like I strict press the Viking press. And that's because the way that the weight was loaded on that pendulum during warm-ups, every time that I would push press it, it would just come swinging and it would like almost hit me. In my left shoulder. Yeah, my left shoulder was already kind of aggravated, so I just strict pressed it. Still won the event. I think I got 17 reps. And
17 to 220?
Yeah.
Nice.
I strict pressed most of them. 220 is really not that heavy. It was kind of light as far as like an overhead goes. But I appreciated it because the first, second, third split was 17, 16, 15, 14. Like we were literally all 1 rep away from each other.
Nice. I like that. You got another one here.
Yep. So
doing your Conan impression.
Yep. Conan wheel went 7 1/4 laps. Took first on the event.
So how many? Let me stop the sharing right there. So how long? Because I know this is a kind of spur of the moment. How many weeks did you train for this?
So this was only an 8-week prep. Okay. Yeah. So this was an 8-week prep. My big prep this year was America's Strongest Veteran. So I dedicated a full 12 weeks to that. Actually, I think it ended up being like 13 or 14 weeks to America's Strongest Veteran, but it's been just absolutely amazing. I've had a lot of, when I say health issues, I don't mean like, I'm not trying to take away from people that have legitimate health issues. I had like endocrine issues and I had, those kind of like fine tuning the machine, if you will. But it's been just absolutely fantastic to be kind of back on top of my game. I haven't been this strong or this competitive since 2019 when I won. I'm sorry, I didn't win. I got 2nd or 3rd at Oklahoma's Strongest Man. And that was the last time that I was really competitive. So it's really nice to kind of be jumping up significantly in strength. It's really good to just kind of, I don't know, it feels good to be back. Like I did the Ohio Strongest Man 2 years ago and I got dead last. Still went out there and competed, still had fun. Absolutely love this sport because at the end of the day, it's all about just testing yourself and having a good time. But it feels good to be back.
I think it's cool, I mean, you're still young. Okay. So when I say this, it's going to sound like I'm calling you, you're still young, but it's like the PRs come further apart as you start to get older. You know, it's like a PR. PRs are wasted on the young, because when you're young and you're like, oh, this is easy. I don't see what the big deal is. Like you will. Just
one day you will appreciate this.
Yeah. Let's see here. It's 332. Hey, Kurt, congrats on the PR. Shout out to Ashley. She's gonna be on here in November, so we can't wait to get her back on the show. And we have a special request for you. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and from Jay, and he said, when the History Channel makes your documentary, can I be an extra in the background? That is the most unique request I've ever had on this show.
Yeah, that's a good one. Gosh, I'd be curious to see what History Channel. I was gonna say History Channel would cover down on a lot of stuff there, because I'm telling you, I'm on a good year. I'm about to hit the retirement button in 13 days.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not young either. So I will say I'm not old, but I'm not young, because everybody I competed at Ohio Strongest Man was in their mid to low 20s, and one guy who was. I don't think he was actually frustrated. I think he was just acting boisterous. But at one point, he's like, I'm getting beat by an old guy. And I was like, yeah,
that's
dude.
When you come back and say, there's a difference. So here's the problem, right? They are technically adults, but you have hit your grown man strength. So that's the difference.
So I call it old man strength, but yeah.
Yeah, but you're not old yet.
Yeah.
You're in your 30s, okay?
Upper 30s.
Kurt, I'm 51 years old. You are not old.
Yeah, but you identify as like a 20-year-old.
Yeah. 15, to be honest with you.
15. There you go. Yep. I told somebody that yesterday at work, I was like, gosh, I just feel like I didn't mature until I hit 40. And they kind of looked at me funny. I was like, yeah, I'm only 37.
You just don't get it. Yeah, you just don't get it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Well, man, I appreciate you jumping on here with me at spur of the moment. And go ahead and tell everybody how you see all your training. And also, you've got the meet recap, the competition recap on your YouTube channel. So I'll put your YouTube in the show description, but go ahead and throw it out there for people who are listening on audio.
Yeah, please. If you are on Instagram, follow me at the Kurt Locker. There's another Kurt Locker without the. That is a fake Kurt Locker, and they will not relinquish their account to me. I'm working on it. You can hit me up on YouTube at, again, the Kurt Locker. And yeah, I just did my meet recap. I think my video coming out later today is, gosh, what is that video?
This is breaking news for real.
Breaking news
coming out today.
It's the Kratos bar from Cerberus Strength.
Okay.
Yep. So I definitely did some expert level clickbaiting with my thumbnail for that.
Oh boy. Is this another one? Is this another thumbnail where you look like you're about to die?
I think I look like I'm just having fun. But yeah, it's a simple, it's a simple thumbnail. And what I'll say is that the amount of time it took me to load the bar for that thumbnail is absolutely ridiculous. And it's worthy of your watch, just because it took me like 20 minutes to get all the plates on the bar.
Okay, so all right, so right there, that's enough. That's what you call in the business a tease. Look at it. This is a true professional. Okay, he's ready for the next phase of his life. All right,
just a little slap and tickle. But yeah, I appreciate you guys. Any follows on YouTube. I'm really trying to focus a little bit more down on the YouTube thing. I was actually just editing another video this morning when you messaged me. I'm trying to get regular again, posting on Fridays. And the biggest thing that you can do is sign up for Home Gym Con. And I'm the meet director for the Strongman Throwdown. Last year was an amazing show. This year, it's going to be even better. We've got some big sponsors coming in, some absolutely amazing event sponsors. Huge shout out to Black Widow, huge shout out to Bear Steel, and then Wait It Out, really stepping up and helping to make this show something that's, one, it's something I can do, because like I lose money doing this every year. I do it out of passion. But also, like, these companies are stepping up and making it to where you guys have an awesome show and I can provide that awesome show without losing as much money. So again, Freedom Strength, Bear Steel Equipment, Black Widow Training Gear, Wait It Out. Huge thank you to them. Go to the Iron Podium page and sign up.
Awesome. All right, man. I'll let you get on with the rest of your day. One day, your mustache will match the belt-fed strength icon.
My daughter thinks that's me, so I just let her believe it.
You're getting there. You're getting there. All right, man.
Thanks for having me on.
Here. Hey, man, thanks for coming on. Later, man.
Bye.
Bye. All right, so there you go. We started the show off with a bang. Now, I know some of you guys may have had some issues. I'm not really sure what's going on with that. So I will say that this is kind of behind the scenes technical stuff that I don't really understand either, but I'm going to do the best I can. So basically, StreamYard now makes it possible for you to automatically play your intro. And outro. What I used to have to do is kind of time it. I start my intro and then hit go live. And now StreamYard makes it possible for you to just do it together. So it'll give you an option to say, go live and play intro. And so I don't know if that's the reason why some of you guys had to go off and come, get off the stream and then come back for it to refresh. So so for everyone who's asking about if we're still live or whatever, please, yes, we are definitely still live. Big Carp says, Big Kurt, good to have you on here. Carp was just did kind of like a review of a new bench, and it's funny because that led to one of the news items that I have. And in fact, let's just go ahead and jump back into the rest of the news. So let's see here. So Waited Out is looking for feedback, and I'm going to go ahead and pull that. Actually, you know what? We'll do that news item after we do this one. So let's finish the thought I had. So basically, Harbor Heavyweights. All right, Harbor Heavyweights has a new adjustable bench coming out, and I know some of you are like, who? That's right, like in the Guardians of the Galaxy. Who? Harbor Heavyweights. So they are in California, I believe, and let me go to their homepage right here. So they're based in California. I'm not sure where in California they're based, but they reached out to me, and I thought it was kind of funny because Carp posted the picture of the Living Fit bench, adjustable bench, right? He said, hey, what do you guys want to know? And tell me what you want to know, and I'll include it in the review. So I said, all right, cool. So I threw some questions out to him. Well, Harbor Heavyweights sees my comments, and I guess they were lurking on Carp's account, or maybe they follow him or what. Anyway, and so they sent me a DM. Now, I understand that I put my comments on there and then I was out because I've had a very busy couple of weeks. So I go back on Instagram maybe like a couple of days later, and I see a DM from Harbor Heavyweights, and I'm like, who's this? And they said, and it was like a picture of a bench, right? And they're like, I was like, oh, that's just. Now, understand that people will send me pictures of equipment all the time. They'll like tag me in it, or they DM it to me, and I'm always like, that I'm assuming that there is because they want me to be to see if they want to gauge my interest in doing a review of it. So I assume that's what this was. And then I realized after I went into a little bit more that they were responding to my comment on Carp's post. I guess they thought I was like in the market for a bench or something like that. I don't know. But anyway, so I was like, well, to me, that's a little bold. You see somebody, it's kind of like, to me, it's like you're interrupting a conversation. We're talking about one product, and then they kind of just came in and said, oh, well, hey, we got something. I'm like, okay, no problem. That being said, it's interesting. So I'm bringing it to you guys now. So they have a new adjustable bench coming out. It's called the Harbor Elite Adjustable Bench version 2. Now, the reason why this is what they sent me the picture of. The reason why I'm not showing it to you is because it's not quite ready for prime time yet, as I understand it. But it is the flat incline decline, and it's going to have the option for additional attachments. So they said basically they're kind of like trying to get all the bugs out of it, and then they're going to be sending them out in time for the holiday, sending them to people to review in time for the holiday shopping season. So it looks to me like this bench that's coming out is going to be an upgrade to their Harbor FID bench version 2, and I can show you that. So let's go ahead, go here. It's actually available on Shop, which keeps on. Ever since I brought up Shop, it's been popping up more and more in conversation. So this is what they have now, and the bench that is going to be coming out. Looks like it's an upgrade to this. So it's going to essentially have these features, but with the option for a preacher attachment, leg extension, leg curl. Well, at least a leg curl. I don't know if it's a leg extension. At least a leg extension. I don't know if it's a leg curl, but it's definitely at least a leg extension, preacher curl attachment, and then something else. So this is what they have now. So it's essentially going to look like this, but with attachment, with the option for attachments on the front. So this is their FID version 2. This is it in clear coat, which is kind of interesting. And then as you guys can see, it goes, like I said, it's FID, so it goes all the way down. Looks like it's available in red also. And let's look at the clear coat again. And that's it in clear. That clear coat is pretty. I know some of you guys like are into clear coat, so I like that. That's kind of pretty. Things I want to know about it though, just in general, is so they said this is even this version has undergone redesign. So it looks like the frame has been upgraded. They gave it a knurled handle for easy movement. It goes that knurling again. It's got, so there's 7 back positions, 4 adjustable seat positions. It's got plastic end caps. Okay. All right. This is what I want to know. It's 105 pounds. So that's heavier than, for reference, that's heavier than the buzzsaw bench from Bells of Steel. And so my wife uses my gym, right? And so I'm always, I want stuff to be sturdy, but to me, it can't be so heavy that she can't use it. So that, let's move this a little bit further down in terms of the potential want list for me. But then again, it may not matter because depending on how it's balanced, it may be easy to move it around. So for perspective, the Rep AB 5200 2.0 was easier for my wife to move around than the AB 5200 version 1 that we have downstairs in our home gym. All right. So that's kind of like how I gauge. Yeah, Joyce, that's exactly what I'm trying to say. It's like, I mean, it's not like you're not picking it up, but that's what I mean by it depends on the balance point, because the balance point is going to affect how easy it is to pick it up with one hand, to just be able to kind of like roll it, right? But the heavier it is, the heavier total weight there is, the less that balance point can help you out. So like I said, the buzzsaw is about 90 pounds, I think. Now I'm curious. I'm gonna look up the buzzsaw, which my wife was able to use because we use it at the first home gym con. I think they had the buzzsaw there, or let's see, yeah. So the buzzsaw, I'll go ahead and I'll pull this up so you guys can see the comparison. I didn't actually plan on doing this, so I don't have it. I apologize, I didn't have it pulled up. So the buzzsaw, again, so similar, but it does have like the attachments available or as options. In any case, it's got 8 angles, and I'm looking for the weight. All right, so it's 98 pounds. So yeah, so the buzzsaw is 98 pounds. That bench from Harbor Heavy Weights is 105 pounds. And again, like Joyce said, how is that easy to move? So I always think about it as like there's a balancing act for anything. It's got to be sturdy enough to be able to support me and the weight of whatever I'm lifting while I'm on it, but also it can't be so heavy that my wife never uses it. So there's that. All right. So Carp said I think he thinks the newer one from Harbor is going to have 2 ladder cages for adjustment. Okay, nice. Jay said Jay's got the Rep Blackwing, and he said it doesn't go anywhere. It's stationary. Well, okay. You mean it's too heavy to move it around? I mean, well, with the configuration of your gym, though, it doesn't really have to move. I'm just saying that with our gym, we do most of our stuff in the rack. So basically, if I'm squatting, I move the bench out, especially if, my wife may want to do, I don't know, I'm trying to think, maybe she wants to do pullovers or incline, or maybe she's doing curls while I'm squatting. So the bench has to be able to move, and it can't be so heavy that you don't want to mess with it. In fact, that's like a general rule for me in terms of all my home gym equipment. It doesn't matter how cool something looks. If it's too heavy for me to use conveniently, it's probably not going to get used, which means it's just going to be taking up space like in the corner. So it's a waste of money. Doesn't matter. What's up to my guy from Brimhall Barbell Club? What's up, Jack? Appreciate you being here, man. Let's see here. Jared says Bells of Steel has been teasing an adjustable bench that's not black. Oh, that sounds like a question we need to ask Kaevon when he's here later on at the 9 o'clock hour. That's definitely intriguing. I'm a fan of the fundamental colors, black and red. Okay, let's see my shirt. Okay, black and red. Those are the colors, right? But I know that options are important. My wife likes it black and red also, but she also likes, her color palette is a little bit wider than mine. So sometimes we get stuff in here that's not going to adhere to that. You know what I mean? So basically, if you see something in my gym that's not black or red, she probably has something to do with it being in the gym. Okay, up to and including the dumbbell rack that's black and white. Okay, so yeah, there's that. Okay. So Jay said, yeah, the heavy end is at the handle. It should have been the opposite side. There. Okay. Yeah. I don't like that. I guess maybe the thought process is like, where would they put the weight if it's on the end, like where your head goes? Because if they make the long part of the bench too heavy, then it's going to be annoying for you to adjust it. So I'm glad I don't have to design benches, but yes, I do. I'm with you there. And you said it's also going to be a tripod design, which he on the Harbor heavyweights bench, Carp said that it's going to have a tripod design, which he prefers. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it here, man. It's I saw that. I don't know if they sent you. I'm assuming they sent you a screenshot also. But when they sent the DM to me, I said, okay, that looks basically I was like, that looks interesting. You know what I mean? That looks interesting. Jared said he thinks the 5200 2.0 is 115 pounds. Yes, but that goes back to my point about how well designed it is, because it's actually easier to move it around because of the balance point than the 1.0 is. So that's a problem for the engineers, but it's something that matters to me, which is actually one of the things that I was going to ask you guys about. This is like, what are the things that you guys look for in adjustable benches? Because I'm seeing now that adjustable benches, things go in cycles, right? And so when I first started my home gym, a lot of times if you saw an adjustable bench, it would have the leg curl attachment, or it'd have an option for you to do decline, so you could do, because people would use it for sit-ups and things like that as well. And then for a while, you started seeing like utility benches that were just flat, but they were much heavier duty, like the bench from Iron Mind comes to mind. I forgot what they call it, but it's just a flat bench and is super heavy duty. Then you go back to adjustable benches again, but they didn't have they didn't necessarily, a lot of them didn't roll. Then I remember I got an old Dynabody adjustable bench in, I think 2008, 2009. And it had, it was obvious that it was designed to be used inside not necessarily a public gym, but maybe a school, because it had like the little platform steps for somebody to stand on to spot you, but it didn't have like uprights. So it's obviously something that is designed to go along with another, like maybe a rack or something. And you tend to see, at the time, you tended to see those designs in schools, right? Like colleges and high schools. But it didn't have the attachments, the leg extension, leg curl attachments. So now slowly but surely, I'm starting to see the attachments for the front coming back. So are these things that are important to you guys? Like, what do you guys look for in an adjustable bench? Jack said it's 331 in California, but he's there. Hey, I appreciate it, man. I understand the sacrifice. But look, I got Ego Lifting Daily. All right. Ego Lift Daily. He's in Asia. So it's actually nighttime for him, and he's still here. So I appreciate you guys. All right. I'm getting some people's days started, and I'm also speaking soothingly because I know some of you guys are getting ready to go to sleep. And I want you to have a soothing sound as you go to sleep so you have good dreams. Let's see here. See, that's the thing, man. Carp said the AB5200 is longer, so it kind of feels heavier. That's the thing. To me and to my wife, it didn't feel heavier because we've got version 1 down here in our home, and we're used to, moving that thing around. Got to the version 2, and she was like, "Oh, this feels so much lighter." I said, "Yeah." So I don't know. Carp, yeah, the struggle. So my wife's got a Crandall Fitness women's bar. It's pink camo, which makes no sense to me. I was like, because I'm always like, well, what are you supposed to be hiding from if it's pink camo? All right, but she likes it. So basically, it's just kind of like, it's not in the back because I need to make it so that it's easier for her to get to. But it's kind of like, I got other stuff around it, so you don't really see it. If you happen to see it if the camera happens to go that way, you don't really see it, so it doesn't mess up our color scheme. And Carp said that the Rogue AB 3.0 felt a lot heavier than the 5200 and 5200 2.0. Yeah, I can see that. I have not used a lot of Rogue stuff in quite some time. Usually the Rogue stuff that I use is like, I have a Rogue deadlift bar. It's their Castro bar. I've had it for years. I think I got it in 2015, 2014, something like that. But I got like their loading pins and stuff like that. I don't have any I had Hatfield handles, but they don't fit on my power rack because now I have a 5/8 rack, and those are for 1 inch. So they're kind of just sitting off to the side. So yeah, I don't really have a lot of Rogue stuff. So I didn't. And when they were at Home Gym Con, I heard like not horror stories, but I got people were telling me negative feedback about how they were responding if you went over to their booth. I understand that some people had good experiences, but I'm not interested in their stuff enough to go and expose myself to having to deal with that on a day. I'm not on purpose going to go seek out negative stuff, if I don't have to. So I didn't even go over there to try it out. All right, so now let's go to so Wait It Out is looking for feedback, and I need to have their see if this is it. Yeah, all right, so I had to pull it up. All right, so so before we move on to the next topic, Joyce has a Joyce, this is almost Recliner of Rage ready, worthy. She said, companies slap pink on stuff and call it for women. Says, I wish they would just spin the color wheel. I saw several colorful booths at Home Gym Con with Brisk Business. Yeah, I mean, so I've seen more than the pink. Like I see like the zebra. I've seen like the leopard stuff. I've seen zebra. My thing about it is that I think that calling it something for women kind of gives them license to be a little bit more. So when they make something for a guy, it's like they feel like, okay, we have to like appeal to your inner quote unquote savage. So it's got to look like barbaric, right? So it's got to be like military green, right? Or OD green, or it's got to be black, or it's got to be red, something aggressive. But for women, they kind of expand it out. Say, okay, well, we have license to do these things with the colors. But I feel what you're saying because, like, for example, with a women's bar, it's more than just taking the same bar and changing the color. You have to look at, the diameter of the bar, for example. Now, that being said, you can't, if you're going to make something for people who are going to train for competition, you can't make the bar too thin because like if women compete in powerlifting, for example, they don't necessarily use a thinner bar. They pretty much use the same bar that the men use most of the time. There may be some competition out there somewhere where they get to use a woman's bar, but for the most part, you use the exact same 29 millimeter bar that men use. So you have, you might as well train to use a 29 millimeter bar in training, because that's what you're going to see on the platform. But yeah, I completely understand. Yeah, my you know what? I feel like I wrote this because my wife and daughter love the Fringe Sport pink flamingo bumper plates we've got downstairs. All right. And Carp said that they dropped the Bell's Juno bar. That's a new woman's bar. They dropped that today. Yet another topic to talk about with Kaevon. You guys go ahead, start putting your questions for Kaevon in the chat. What I'll do is I'll star them so I don't forget, so that they don't get lost as we go along. But I got to move on to the next topic because we're running out of time. I need to do better. So Wait It Out is looking for feedback. And I am going to go ahead and share my screen because what they want to know is something I'm actually curious about too. And whatever feedback I get on here, I'll go ahead and I'll forward it to Brian at Wait It Out. But so basically they designed a new plastic version of their lock and load plate, right? And they've integrated threading into the base plate. So the basic idea of going to integrating plastic was to basically save on the price. So instead of $450 for solid steel, now you're going to be paying $150 to get your 2 base plates, 12 1-pound bullets. So, 6 bullets per side. And then also the base plate's now 1/2 pound. So that'll make micro loading easier. So you're getting a 1/2 pound to 6.5 pound increments. So what he wants to know is, does that make sense to you guys? And does it make you, when you say does it make sense, basically he wants to know is like, does this make you more likely to buy the product? So why or why not? And so they, I will put the link. Let's see if this works. I'm going to put the link to this in the show notes right here. Not in the show notes, in the chat. So there it is right there in the chat. So you guys, after the show, you can go there. And I also will put it in the comments if you're watching on replay. And if you're listening on Podbean, I will put it in the description as well. So you guys can go to the Instagram post and you can put comments there and just let Brian know, what you guys think of this. I think it's interesting. Now, I'm not really into the lock and load design in general personally, but that's because I tend to like more like what Micro Gains did with the micro loading, just because a lot of days I don't have a ton of time. And so adding so it's hard enough to like do the math for the micro loading. If I got to add this whole spinning thing to it, that's just going to be too many. That's juggling too much stuff. It's not that I can't do it, it's that it's going to slow me down. So I'm not really into that, but I do like the fact that they're, that it's available. And for people who liked it, but who are thrown off by the price point, I like that he's trying to figure out a way to kind of give you an option that's going to be less expensive for you. So you guys see that link right there, click on it and give him some feedback after the show is over. Or, hey, we're going to be on for 4 more hours. So if you want to dip out for a second, put the comment on there and then come back, go ahead. That's fine. I am cool with that. All right. And Jared says, I can certainly appreciate offering products over the spectrum of low to higher end price tags. Yeah, I give people choices. Let them make the decision about what they want to buy. I think, that's what we do with cars, right? You can go buy a McLaren. You can buy, if you can find one, you can buy a Festiva. You can buy whatever. Heck, nowadays you can build a car if you want to. Kid it out. All right, so we have gone through the first items, and I'm legitimately running out of time here. All right. I also discovered a new source of barbells. Next news item. So Jay, because he was watching the live stream on last Saturday, he's already seen this, but I'm gonna show you guys this. So I discovered a new source of barbells. I had heard the name before, but I thought that this brand only made like powerlifting equipment, like multiply gear, like squat suits, bench shirts, things like that. But because I was at the USPC America's Championship, which I'll tell you guys about in a little bit, I saw the bars that they were using, and their bars were custom made by FA Customs. So during the course of the live stream, I said, well, let me just head on over there and see what these look like on the website, because I can see them in person. They look kind of good. So I was like, hey, you know what? I know people that watch a weekly live stream who might be interested in this as well. So we're going to share my screen right now, and I'll show you these bars. So it's FA Customs. The link is in the description for the video already. They've got their Platinum Series. You can get that as a set, which is about $1,600, a little over $1,600. What they used at the competition was the Platinum Bench Bar. So I'll go ahead and I'll show you that first. But these are collars. There we go, Platinum Bench Bar. And actually, I'm gonna go back to that. Let me go back. So Jay, you asked me a question about the collars. You said, is the weight of the collar included? I remember on the live stream you asked me if the weight of the collars is included in the weight that's on the bar. And yes, and I was telling you that the collars are about 5 pounds. So this is what these collars look like in powerlifting meet collars. You see they're 2.5 kilogram collars, and they see if they've got more than one image of them. Yeah, so this is what they look like, right? And you see like they have like kind of like you screw them down to secure them. But yeah, they include the weight of the collar in the weight that they're putting on the bar. So so let's say you're supposed to lift 160 pounds, they would load 155. No, you're supposed to lift 160 pounds. They would load 100. They would load 150 and then put collars on each side, and to get you to the 160. All right, but now let's go to the bars, which is what I really wanted to show you. So check out this bar right here. All right here. So it's a 25 kilogram bar. It is very stiff, and that's good because you don't want your bench press bar wobbling. The heavier it gets, the further the plates are from the center knurl, the harder it's going to be to lock it out in general. Okay. It's sort of like the principle behind like a tsunami bar or something, just not to that extent. Anyway, so they're 25 kilogram. Total length is 95 inches, 32 millimeters. So it's actually thicker than your standard power bar, right? But if you're going to be lifting heavy weight in some of these high-level competitions, the diameter of the bar is allowed to be a little bit thicker. The shaft itself is 52 inches. So, and they say it's got aggressive knurling. I'll show you guys what it looks like. Look at that knurling right there. That's what the knurling looks like. Let's see here. Yeah, so Jay said the OG bench bar is fire. He said I might need that soon. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying is like for you guys, especially if you don't compete, it doesn't matter to you what the diameter of the bar is. It's like, because you don't have to worry about competition. It's more like, hey, this is just something to give you some training variety. Let's see if they got some more pictures. Check out the sleeves. They got the FA Customs logo on them. This is not sponsored. I just thought it was a cool, just like none of the other stuff I showed you was sponsored. So I think that these bars look pretty good. It's 230,000 PSI. It's got a 2,500 pound capacity. This is a bench bar. So again, this is designed for people who may be benching in a bench press shirt. So they're going to be benching. I mean, there are people who have benched 1,000 pounds, right? And so you want to have a bench bar that can handle that. The available colors are original, and then you can also customize the color. And you see the end caps there. The bar that got my attention, and then you've got the squat bar as well, but the bar that got my attention is their deadlift bar. So the deadlift bar is 20 kilograms. It's at a 27 millimeter shaft. So this is going to be a little bit whippier than a normal, than a lot of the other deadlift bars out there. It's also got aggressive knurling. Shaft is 57 inches and the total length is 95 inches. So again, check out that knurling right there. Look at the sleeves. The sleeves have that FA Customs logo. And you can see what the sleeves look like. They've also got that end cap. So it's got a 1,500 pound capacity. and it's also available in original, or you can customize it. So I thought about, that's one of those things that kind of like nice. I was like, that kind of looks interesting. And I'll say this too. It's not a company that you guys may have been familiar with already, but I'm going to tell you that that's irrelevant. Because sometimes the thing is, like, you don't know about a company, and so you assume that the quality is lower. And I'm going to tell you that I remember when Texas Power Bars didn't have as robust an internet presence, especially on social media, as they do now. And so people didn't know about how good the OG Texas Power Bars were. But they were being used by people. It was some of the strongest people on the planet to hit tremendous loads in competition, right? And so this is the same thing with the FA Customs bar. This thing is used by some of the strongest people on the planet to hit like some ginormous weights that are going to exceed whatever you guys, whatever we're lifting in our home gyms. But you're not necessarily going to know about them because they don't spend a lot of money on like influencers and stuff like that. And I'm going to touch on this in a podcast only episode, but I'm going to tell you that a lot of influencers only do reviews on products that they think people are likely to buy, because they depend on the affiliate money to help as a source of income. So a lot of stuff goes under the radar because unless it's already known, a lot of people who do what I do aren't going to be interested in talking about it, because they know that they probably don't have the following to influence you to buy something that you're not familiar with. And so they want to review stuff that you already know about, because that keeps them relevant, and it makes it more likely for them to be able to get affiliate money, as well as the affiliate game is a little bit cutthroat. So somebody else might be reviewing the same thing with a bigger presence than they have, but if they come on there and they put affiliate link, they can actually steal the person's affiliate income, right? So I'll say that. Anyway, so to me, that's why I think, to me, it's a mistake to only check out companies that your favorite influencer has done reviews on. Okay, you look at it like that. But like I said, FA Customs is a legit. I've seen them in person, and I've seen what people have handled on them in person, and I know that they've got a track record of being used in competitions by some of the strongest people out there, some of the strongest athletes out there. And so I can tell you that it's a quality product. I'm actually working on getting somebody from FA Customs onto the show so that they can kind of introduce their company to you a little bit more, get them out there a little bit more. But yeah, and it's not just them. It's also, there are other brands out there that make good stuff but you just don't know about them because, influencers don't. And it's funny because influencers hate being called that, but that's what they are, right? So let's say content creators might not necessarily review the product because they know that they're not likely to make a ton of affiliate money off of it. Jared says, where are the FA Customs bars made? That's a good question. Well, let's see. They've got patents. So their patents this is all patents for their shirts. So I don't know. It would take me a little bit more time to find that out. So looking at the information thing, they do have a YouTube channel, and it looks like they've got an affiliate thing as well. Okay, FAQs. Let's go to the FAQ. Well, the FAQ does not have any things, but it says check out the FA YouTube for frequently asked questions. So let's try that. I'm not gonna spend a ton of time looking for the FA YouTube channel, but what I will do is paste the FA YouTube channel link in the description. FA Customs. See if it's FA Customs. So the FA bench shirt explained. Okay, So, all right, here's what I'm going to do. I can't find it. It's taking me too long. I'm done. So what I'm going to do is I'll find it and I'll share the link with you guys in the comments and put it in the description of the video. So you guys can check them out, because they said that a lot of their frequently asked questions are addressed on their YouTube channel. But to answer your question is, I do not know where the bars are made. I can tell you that Jimmy Kolb, who you probably don't know, but he's an elite powerlifter. Jimmy Kolb broke a world record on that. And when I say that, I'm talking about these bars can handle 1,000 pounds. Like the bench bar can handle 1,000 pounds easy. All right. Let's move on to the next item. And that's going to kind of, we don't have enough time for Recliner of Rage. So I'm going to do Recliner of Rage after our guest comes on at 7. But I'll just, I got 4 minutes. Do we have time for this? No, we don't. So let's just go ahead and we don't have time. So Recliner of Rage is going to happen at 8 o'clock Eastern. Okay. So for you guys who I understand, if you got to get your day started, about to start work, and you're not going to be on here live, Recliner of Rage will be on here at the 8 o'clock hour. So just come back and check it out. I know some of you guys are in the replay gang. Just come back and check it out in the replay, and we can do that. But let's go back into the comments so I don't skip anything, and then we'll go ahead, shout out to the Central Time Zone, and bring our guest on. Our second guest of the day. He was the first guest, but then Kurt came on, so now John is the second guest. All right, so talking about the lock and load. Carp said I have the all steel one, so it's basically two 1 pound plates. So the new version would make it easier to actually use as micro loading. But Brian apparently can also do various colors, or even flow, or even glow in the dark. So with the lock and loads that I showed you guys earlier, apparently Carp is saying that they have the option for glow in the dark as well as other color options. So that's pretty interesting too. Once again, my color palette, black and red. Black and red. Eric said he'll be in the dentist chair of rage at that time. Hey, get your dentist to put it on. You know, get your dentist to put it on. Oh, okay. So here we go. Said, what did I do? So I posted a video, and some dude whose avatar is a banana came on and was like trolling me, right? Which doesn't bother me, because to be honest with you, trolling a lot of times actually brings more people to see your video, because YouTube interprets trolling as engagement. So you see the trolling, and then you start going back and forth with them, and then you actually get more views on your video. So I remember the first video I ever got that had 1 million views was a YouTube short, and it was because somebody was trolling. And I remember another video, it wasn't doing well, and then somebody came on and started trolling. We were arguing. Next thing I know, the thing had 7,000 views. Just like, I mean, like literally overnight. Like, yes, in a 24-hour period. So when I see somebody trolling, as long as they don't say anything like out of pocket, like, I don't know, like if they're talking about my mom or something. Other than that, if they're just talking about me, then yeah, I leave it up. I don't care. Because what they got to understand, though, is if you throw 2 at me, I'm gonna throw 4 back. All right. So I am not I don't walk the path of peace. I don't mind, right? I'll go ahead and go back to, and remember, and you guys know I used to fight. So you got to be able to like talk trash, and I have to restrain myself a lot of times. So that's why when my man was like, he just went on there, he said, the video in question that Jay's talking about was, I was talking about like my favorite belt for if I'm doing good mornings, right? And it's a Spud deadlift belt because it's soft, so it flexes with you, as opposed to my other belt, which is kind of stiff. And so it's not comfortable to use for good mornings. So I was just saying, this is I use these, every squat day, because good mornings are a squat accessory. And he said belts are for people with weak cores. So I said, well, banana avatars are for weak people. And then then the next thing I saw Rocco and Jay and a couple other people jump in on this dude, and they're going back and forth. I think I guess I may have hurt his feelings, but he didn't say anything else after I said, why do you have a banana avatar, right? I said, did you lose a bet, or are you like being held hostage and you trying to signal us? You know, you trying to signal for rescue. And I didn't hear anything else from him. Eric said he's been waiting a year and a half to get his dental implants put in. That's living foul, man. You need to get that. Yeah, that a year and a half to be in pain. That's horrible, because now you got to think about it for a year and a half. This is going to suck every day. This is going to suck. That's horrible. I hope you have a good surgery, man. And yes, I hope, to Jared's point, I hope they knock you out. All right, because I remember my wisdom teeth being pulled out and they gave me a local. I'm not a fan. All right. Anyway, it is now 7 a.m. Shout out to the Central Time Zone. Thank you for getting up way too early with Garage Gym Life. I know it's 6 a.m. for you. We've been on for about an hour, and we're getting ready to welcome on our second guest of the day, powerlifter Jon Black. But before that, I want to make sure that I tell you guys good morning and ask you to hit that like button. And if you've not subscribed, hit subscribe. Help me reach my goal of 50,000 subscribers, because I am trying to improve the quality of the content that's here on YouTube for people who are in a home gym. We ride with you all the way throughout your day. We're going to go well through the 9 o'clock hour, and I want as many people to know that this is available as possible. So hit like and hit subscribe, get the algorithm working for us, and then do one more thing for me. If you've already hit like and subscribe, I need you to do this. Hey, I don't want you to just watch this video. I need you to like, subscribe, and if you're already a subscriber, I want you to join our channel for 99 cents a month so you can help us improve YouTube for the home gym community. Okay, back to the video. And we're back, all right? I hope y'all got all that. Like, subscribe, and if you're already a subscriber, hit join, become a member. Now, let's go ahead and let's bring on our second guest of the day. Now, I'm going to depart from the second guest theme a little bit because of who this person is. We're going to go with this. Welcome, Jon, to my show. Can you hear that?
Morning. Yeah. Well, I can't hear whatever you're trying to play, but I can hear you.
You can hear me. You can't hear that. Oh, my goodness. We're playing your theme. We're playing the Army theme. Look at that.
No.
All right, man. Look, hey, what's going on? Are you in a hostage? Are you being held hostage? What's going on here? Why is it so dark over there?
No, garage gym life. You know, I got my garage gym behind me. I got my wife and son still asleep upstairs. So.
Oh, okay. So we got to like keep it. Okay. I said, why is he speaking so quietly? Why is it so dark? Jon, are you in distress? Turn your flag upside down. I'll come get you. All right, man. Well, dude, I'm glad that you're on here, man. I'm glad that you're on here. I actually found out about you because of the USPC Americas championship where I saw you compete last weekend. So it was really cool that I got to see your stuff, and then that led to you coming on. You've got quite the let me go ahead and pull up my list of questions that I got for you. Did you get a chance to look over them? Are you prepared?
Yeah, I did.
He's ready to go. All right.
A little bit. Yeah.
All right. So now at the USPC Americas, which is essentially, for those who are watching, it is the USPC version of a nationals. Okay. Is what they call USPC nationals. So it's USPC Americas. Technically, because we had somebody come from Mexico, it's technically everybody in America, in the Americas, which is why they call it Americas. So you have people from Canada who can come down and compete. We had somebody from Mexico, like I said, but it's essentially we had people from all over the United States competing. And you didn't compete, like I said, but you did come away with some state records. And it looks like some meet PRs, according to what I saw on Open Powerlifting. So, you know, I know that PRs are always welcome no matter where they come. But in your opinion, how did the meet go?
Overall, it went good. The morning didn't start off too great. You know, my wife started getting sick probably a day or two before we flew out to Indianapolis. And then I woke up Saturday morning starting to catch whatever she had. I'm still kind of getting over it. Yeah. So I thought for sure I was probably going to pass out during deadlifts, but I did not, thank God. Yeah, I wasn't happy with my third squat. You know, I failed it, missed it completely, but, you know, it's whatever. I went on to make all three of my benches, and, you know, you saw me live. You know, I hit my second deadlift and I missed my third. But overall, I was pretty happy with how the day went. It went a lot better than my last meet for sure.
So let's go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and pull up just so everybody who's watching can kind of see it. You know, because since you talked about it a little bit, I'll just share a screen so people can check that out. If you guys want to see the full meet, just go to USPC 2020 here on YouTube, and they've got the full meet video on there, including commentary from your favorite person, me. So there's that. I think that's your first squat right there, or that's actually no, that's your top squat, and then I guess this is your top bench right here. What'd you end up finishing up with on bench?
I think it was 264.
264.
265.
Okay. Okay. All right. And then that was your top pull, right? Which is 470 something. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I think your top pull was 474. So let me ask you this question. If I gave you a mulligan, would you rather have won the meet or not win the meet, not get a medal, but get 3 white lights on your last deadlift? And if you get, and I don't know if you can hear this, but this is actually from the live stream, so you guys can hear me calling, yelling for you.
Come on, Jonathan.
Man, you just see your face. You just like,
looks like I got it for up down motion.
Yeah.
Is that what they got you for? Was it up down motion?
No, is that well, they don't use hitching in the rule book. They call it resting. Yeah. So there's that slight
you're resting it on your thighs.
Yeah.
I got you.
They got stuck at like the half inch.
Right at lockout.
Yeah, it was like that last half inch. I was like, come on. And then, no, so mulligan, I'd take 3 white lights because even because I'm a little bit heavier for my last meet and what I registered for for Americas. So even if I would have stayed the same weight, I don't know if I would have even medaled in the lower weight class, but I'll take 3 white lights on the deadlift. I'm still counting.
Okay, so we've got the first bit of inter-service trolling. Kurt, who is in the Air Force, and he's also, so you're getting ready to retire soon. Kurt's getting ready to retire in like, I think 13 days from the Air Force. And he said it seems like a sports selection issue because he said if it was strongman, that would have been a good lift. I was like, yes, but he competes in powerlifting, Kurt. So it looks like this, to me though, it looks like the strength is there for the pull. I think you would have gotten it if it hadn't been your final attempt, to be honest with you. So what I'm trying to say is you probably would have, I could see like your next beat, I can see you getting it. Now.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But now we're going to segue from what was, it looks like maybe your best performance to date as a strength athlete. We're going to segue and I'm going to shift to what I'm going to have to say is not your finest athletic moment. What in the world, man? Why is it so hard for you to open this peanut butter?
Oh, that was a jar of pickles. I have no idea.
Pickles. Okay. This is a jar. Okay, so this is a jar of pickles. I'm like, what is going on here? Look, first of all, this is you. No problem pulling over 400 pounds, right? So this is the meat before. I think this is Odin's Fury, and so look at that. All right, there he is, 400 pounds, no problem. 3 white lights, no problem at all, right? Bam. And then we get to the pickle jar, and look at this dude. You gotta like this is dude. First of all, not only are you a strength athlete, but your job is to defend our country. The enemies of America are right now buying pickle jars and equipping their forces with them because of that video. I try to tell people, look, if you put it on the internet, I'm gonna find it. And I'm gonna show it to you when you come on the show.
My wife was trolling me so hard over the jar of pickles.
I mean, it's not your finest moment. I'm just gonna say.
And then
it's definitely not your finest moment, man. I mean,
No.
I don't know, dude. Like I said,
it was funny. My wife was trolling me and recorded it, and
of course. She's like, oh, because you say, oh your kids are like, oh, my daddy's stronger than your daddy. And like, oh, is that right? Well, look at this pickle jar I got right over here. Come on, man. You got to do better. I need you to post a video for the sake of the country and for our safety of our borders. I need you to go get a jar of pickles and post another video of yourself opening that jar of pickles. Train as long as you need to be able to get this jar of pickles open, but I need you to do a follow-up video of yourself opening a pickle jar with ease, okay? Oh, hey, look at it now. Also, I want you to know that this is a show where solutions are offered, all right? So, let's see here. Jay said, I would have said I just sprained my wrist in MMA training. that would have been a good answer. That's a legitimate excuse, okay? That I like that. You want to write that down before I take it down? All right. Oh boy, here comes Carlos with the dad jokes. He said that was, quote, cumbersome. Carlos, I'm so sad at you right now, dude. I'm so sad at you for that. All right. So speaking of the wrist thing, this actually may be related, but I noticed that you don't wear wrist wraps even on the bench press. You just not like wrist wraps? Did you get bit by a wrist wrap as a kid? What's going on with you in wrist wraps?
So I don't use lifting straps. I hardly use chalk.
Okay.
I just never bought wrist straps or tried to use them. So I just
So you've never used wrist wraps before on the bench press?
No. I'm kind of a cheap guy. Like my belt I got for like $30 on Amazon.
Dude. Okay, hold on. You're telling me that the only reason you don't use wrist wraps on the bench is because you're too cheap to buy some?
Pretty much.
Okay. All right. So do you understand the athletic advantage you get from wrist wraps?
Probably the same advantage I get from the competition knee sleeves that I didn't start using until about 4 weeks ago.
Okay. All right. Man, I might have to just send you some wrist wraps. I can't let you go out like that, man. I can't let you go. John, come on, man. You gotta get your life together, John. We gotta get you opening pickle jars, and we gotta get you using wrist wraps on the bench press, man. It's just nah. So let's talk about your career. You started powerlifting in the USPA, then you had a cup of coffee in the USAPL, and that's where you posted your first 1,000-pound total. And now you're 2 meets deep into your journey in the USPC. So what would you say is the biggest benefit for you of having competed in multiple federations instead of competing in just one?
Just giving an idea of the people, the crowd, the people competing, the judges, not getting too used to one set of judges, and just more experience. I started with the USPA. That was my first meet about 3 years ago now. That was I just picked a meet and went with it, and that was the closest one to when I decided to start competing. So that's why I started competing with the USPA.
That's what I figured. That was just basically whatever was closest.
Yeah, I actually probably would have stayed with the USPA, but that was around the time that they decided to just up and leave Virginia for whatever reason.
Okay.
And I think they slowly started coming back this year, but and that's when I jumped over to the USAPL. Okay. I spotted a couple meets for them. I competed once for them. And then I hopped over to the USPC because I saw that state records were open for taking.
I was wondering why you decided to go over. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, so I saw the state records were open for taking for Illinois, so that's why I hopped over joined the USPC.
Okay, so when you got this, because you broke some state records in this at the Americas. So were those Illinois records or were they Virginia records, or is your residency not Virginia?
So those are Illinois records.
Illinois again. Okay, all right. So as I mentioned earlier that you're on your final contract with the Army. What's the toughest part about preparing for a meet when you're on active duty? I know what it was like. I'm glad I didn't compete in powerlifting when I was in the Marine Corps, because like it's guaranteed. I just remember just trying to stay in shape in general. I was in artillery, so we needed to be strong anyway, because we're constantly humping rounds. The rounds were like 90 to 100 pounds. But then also, we were using a heavier howitzer. So basically artillery guys were just, you just had to be strong. And so I got a little bit of basically GPP from that. But then also you're trying to stay on track with your training. Guaranteed that's when they're going to say, okay, well, we're going to the field. And you're going to have like crappy food. You're going to have, for some reason you got to go, do a lot of I was in artillery, so you would think everything's in a truck, but we also had to do like basically they would call it like security patrols and stuff. In fact, that's part of what we did in Iraq after we took Fallujah. So there's a lot of like conditioning hikes and things like that, conditioning marches, and all of that screws with your training. You know what I mean? So I'm glad I wasn't competing in powerlifting at the time. So for you, what's the toughest part about preparing for a meet while you're on active duty?
So right now it's actually not very difficult with the job that I have. So I know your pain with the artillery, because I work at ammunition supply points for the Army.
Okay.
So I know your pain with the artillery. But right now I'm an instructor for the MOS training. So it's not that difficult for me right now to train.
So you carry a cup of coffee to class.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. I got you. All right. Go ahead.
No, but for a lot of guys, it's about trying to find and make time to train.
Yeah, that's true. Because I remember just even the concept of having to like stand duty, you got 20, and then I remember one time I ended up standing duty for like the full 24-hour rotation, because my A duty had a test. He had a test related to his job. And so I said, well, I'll let you, I'm gonna be a nice guy. I'm gonna let you go ahead and study for your test and then get some sleep. Just give me enough time to go to the gym. So I went to the gym. So basically I had enough time to, whatever time it took for me to walk to the gym at Pendleton, lift, and then go back. And the good thing is I didn't even have to change. I was in my camis. So I just took off my blouse, lifted, turned around, went back, and then I stood duty the rest of the shift, right? And then I had my normal, duties. The day starts, now we got to go do whatever, right? So yeah, like your schedule is so up and down. A lot of times it's tough to predict it because you don't know really what's going to be happening from one day to the next. Tell me this, because you have access. Well, actually, so we have a question in the chat. They want to know what kind of rack that is. That's a RitFit, isn't it? Your power rack. Can you hear me?
Yeah, that's a RitFit rack. I picked it up on Amazon. Yeah, my internet's kind of spotty. I think they're out doing work. I thought they were done yesterday, but
okay, no problem. So yeah, that's a RitFit rack. Okay.
I have a RitFit rack I picked up on Amazon. It's got it's got the integrated lat pull down cable, low row cable.
Okay. All right. So after my deployment to Iraq, like I found it easier to concentrate before a set if I was training in my garage gym. So before I went to Iraq, I could train like in a public gym. I didn't like it, but I could do it. But then after I got back from Iraq, like I didn't like being around large crowds of people anymore, right? Especially if I'm doing something like bench. So it was actually easier for me to focus if I was in our garage with our young, at the time our boys were very young. They're in elementary school, but I still find it easier to concentrate with all of them running around and me in the garage than if I was in a room full of, in a gym full of strangers. And to me, I think that learning to focus while there's a kid trying to get daddy's attention is great training to prepare you for the chaos of a meet environment. Has that been your experience?
So I've done some training with my son out here in the garage with me. Like I did some yesterday. He was out here playing with
talking
his
about that guy
chalk
right
yesterday.
there?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how's
Yeah,
that?
he just likes to sit there and watch. Then he makes me get the lat pull down bar down. He likes to he's I'm trying to tell him that those aren't pull-ups, but he's 3, so he makes me get the lat pull bar down so he can do his pull-ups.
Okay. Well, let me say this, because I saw him at the meet cheering for you. It's like so you get motivation from having your family at the meets, but one other thing is like there's a flip side to it is sometimes you can get too amped up. You know what I mean? Like your kid is there yelling for you, go daddy, or whatever, and you're trying to squat. It can actually, I've seen it throw people off because they start like trying, I don't know, like you're not trying to impress your son, but you want to like give your all because you want to see him to see daddy succeed or whatever. And that can actually throw your technique off. Do you ever catch yourself being too fired up when you have your son and your wife and son there cheering for you?
No, so they've been at every single meet that I've been to. Even at Odin's Fury, I did hear him. I don't remember what lift I was on, but I do remember hearing my son yelling and cheering for me. But I am able to basically tune everything else out except for the judges, so I don't really hear anything else.
Okay.
Except for the judge's commands.
Ah, nice. So we brought up the rack. You've got about 6 years to build out that garage gym, because you might still have access to the base gyms when you retire, but you may not. So it won't be as convenient, especially if you go back to Illinois. So I've got Kaevon from Bells of Steel coming on the show later, and he actually had a post where he's been asking about which products the home gym community thinks Bells of Steel should focus on. So let's go with just your needs in general. So one of them, I'm going to assume it's cost. All right. Because you just said you money. We'll just say, okay, cost is one of them. But what are your top 6 must-haves as a person who competes in powerlifting and who's also, putting together a home gym? So what are your top 6 things that you say these are the things I'm looking for?
Number 1 is a good squat rack. I looked at some of the Bells of Steel racks, and I ultimately decided to go with a RitFit rack. Number 2 would probably be a good power bar.
Hold on. You went with RitFit over Bells of Steel, but why? Like, what was it about the RitFit that you like over the Bells of Steel racks, over the Hydra Manicore?
The RitFit was a little bit cheaper.
Okay. Okay. I got you. No, I got you. I was just like, when you said you ultimately went with it, I was like, what? Okay. But that makes sense. Got you. So cost is like your number one thing.
Was a little bit cheaper. Yeah.
It's cost is like, so is it for you? Is it cost and then whether everything else is like a distant second? Is that how it goes for you?
Yeah, because I got if I was a single guy, it cost.
Oh no, I understand. I'm just saying, like in terms of your hierarchy of needs, like it's cost and then this other stuff. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I got you.
Next would be a good power bar. getting ready for Americas. I just bought this Texas Power Bar that's hanging up back here.
Oh, nice. Okay. All right.
Yeah, and then I need to invest in better plate loaded dumbbell handles. So the ones I have right now are just the pair you can, or I don't even know if they sell them as a pair, but you can get them at Dick's Sporting Goods.
Oh, okay. So like adjustable dumbbells, the handles.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you've got the ones that are like is it the ones that only go with standard plates? Like the
well, I left kind of a mess yesterday.
Okay, I see it. Okay, so what's on your wish list then in terms of what you want to get next?
I've been shopping around for a leg curl leg extension attachment.
Okay. You want something that can go on your rack, or do you want a bench, like a separate bench?
I'll probably get something that attaches to the rack just to save some space in my garage, because I also this is a little off topic here, but I also have.
It's a mystery. I think John just disconnected his internet. All right, so I'll bring him back on whenever he gets reconnected. Let's go back to your questions. All right, Carp said he's leaving weight off the bar without wrist wraps. 100% agree. So I know people. John's not the only power lifter I know who's not been interested. They're like, I don't want to use that. There's even a federation called 100% Raw, where they don't allow you to use a belt or wrist wraps. And I get it, but my thing about wrist wraps and belts, knee sleeves, knee wraps is if it's part of your sport and you don't use it, then that's like going into a boxing match without a mouthpiece or playing football without a helmet, So that's just how I think. It's like it's something for your sport. And, all right, and he's back. Hey,
yeah, I don't know what
back.
the hell just happened.
It's all right.
No,
it's
I
all
lost
right.
my train of thought because my computer.
You said you're about to tell me something off topic.
So trying to find stuff that attaches to the rack to save space, because I also do woodworking as a hobby. So I've got a bit of a workshop in my garage too.
I got you. Okay. So because you've got that, did you build your own did you build a deadlift platform for yourself?
No, I just got some styrofoam mats. And I don't really do a whole lot of deadlifting at home because I work out so early in the morning. This is
because of the noise. I got you.
Yeah. So I usually go to the base gym and do my deadlifting there.
Okay. What are your favorite accessory movements for the competition lifts?
Oh man, so I've been doing a lot of box squats lately. I've been taking a liking to those. I like doing leg extensions. I have a love-hate relationship with Bulgarian split squats.
Yeah. I noticed that you did it. Didn't you do it with like over 200 pounds? Because you were doing like an Instagram challenge or something?
Well, it was yeah, so that was my old coach, and she had posted a video of her doing 100-pound dumbbells in each hand. Yeah. And so I was like, you know what, let me one up you a little bit.
Okay. I told you it's when I did because I thought you said it was like 210 pounds. Like whenever I tell people, I want them to come on the show, they're always like surprised. You didn't say this, but they're always surprised when I say, okay, I need at least 7 days, because I spend the time finding out about you. Even if I already know who you are, I want to see what you've been up to lately. And heck, you know, I did the same process for the people who were on last week. So that means I wasn't necessarily following your stuff last week, right? You know what I mean? So now I have to research you. So in the process of it, it's like I do a deep dive. So I've seen a ton of stuff on your Instagram, and that's where I got the pickle thing, and that's where I saw the Bulgarian split squat. That was pretty cool. How did it feel to do the split squat with that much weight?
So it was kind of awkward with the handles that I have. The handles that I have are a little bit smaller in diameter than what most dumbbells are.
Right.
Plus I get more smaller plates, like more like 25 pound and under plates. Because trying to do those with 45 pound plates on them is stupid.
Okay. So last question from me. I've got your Instagram going across the bottom of the screen right here. Is that the best place for people to follow you if they want to see like your training, or if they just if they got a question for you, or maybe there's a sponsor out there that wants to send you some wrist wraps? That's what you need. You need a sponsor to send you free stuff, because then you only have to pay for it. And you are literally, Hart even said, I'm like, let's not kill this dude, but I'm going to say you are definitely leaving weight off the bar if you don't use wrist wraps on the bench, right? So let's get you a sponsor that can send you some wrist wraps, and well, you already got knee sleeves, but they'll send you some other stuff too. Get you hooked up. Maybe we'll get you another power rack, something like that. We got to get you. We got to help you get your life together, man. All right, I can't have you out there like that. All right? I can't let you. I can't. Look, let me say this to you, John. Raise the standard. Okay, raise the standard. I'll say that's your. Is that that's the website that's in your Instagram link? What is Raise the Standard?
So they're like a clothing company. I was trying to figure out the other word for it. Apparel.
Okay. I know that they didn't make wrist wraps. I knew that.
Yeah. No, they're about like just being better humans in general, raising the standards of human communication, and just being nice to each other, because you don't know what somebody else is going through.
Yeah, 100%. All right. So as I said, if somebody wants to follow your training on social media, they just want to, reach out, ask you questions or whatever, is your Instagram the best place to go?
Yeah, it's I post all my training on Instagram. My Facebook is very closed off, and I'm very selective with Facebook just because we've had some issues in the past with Facebook. So my wife does all the posting on Facebook for us.
Okay. All right. So everybody, I've got it going across the bottom of the screen, and it's in the video description, and I also posted it in the live chat. Go ahead and follow John at SMOL_military_powerlifter. John, man, I love the fact that you are doing so well. I love seeing your kid, your son, they're cheering you on at the USPC Americas, and I'm going to be doing more meets, live streaming more meets, doing color commentary for them. So I definitely look forward to seeing you again on the USPC platform. Thank you for taking some time out to hang out with me. I know you had some internet issues, but we powered through it, man. So I appreciate you being here, dude.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it was awesome being here. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome, man. Thanks for being on. Talk to you later.
Yeah.
All right, and that was Jon Black. He's a member of the United States Army and powerlifter who competes in the United States Powerlifting Coalition and United States Powerlifting Coalition. He's a really cool dude. And normally he doesn't have internet issues. So when you go follow his Instagram, you're not going to see, it's not going to look like a hostage video. Okay. I promise it won't. All right. So now let's go. Let's see. I think I'm all caught up with the chat. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to the stuff that I had to pass. So we actually can do Recliner Rage a little bit earlier because we ended that interview a little bit sooner. All right, so we already did FA Customs. And all right, so like I said, I did USPC Americas last week. And it kind of reminded me of why I enjoy live streaming, man. It was a great venue. There were people watching the stream from Bulgaria, from the UK, from Mexico. These are all people, because I tell people when I do a stream for some competition or whatever, I'll tell people, say, hey, drop a comment and let me know where you're watching from and who you're here supporting or who you're watching to support. So we had a guy who's of Bulgarian descent. His mom was watching from Bulgaria. He had an uncle watching from the UK. We had people from the Philippines watching to support somebody. We had people from Mexico watching. And then we had people from all across the U.S. We had people from, I remember some of the ones that jumped out. So San Diego, we had a bunch of people from Pittsburgh and other parts of Pennsylvania. We had a lot of people from Virginia watching. It was just a great time. I had a good time just interacting with people. And it just reminded me of why I love live streaming, especially competitions. And that led to me having Jon on the show today. So I don't want you guys to think that what I'm about to tell you in any way means that I didn't enjoy my experience of going to live stream USPC Americas. But that being said, because I drove to Indiana to live stream USPC Americas, I now have this week's Recliner of Rage.
It's the Recliner of Rage.
It's the Recliner of Rage, 'cause he's not happy.
Okay, so Recliner of Rage right now, here is what I'm mad about. So, like I said, today's Recliner of Rage is dedicated to the roads in Kentucky. And whoever thought it was a good idea to schedule construction on a Friday evening? All right, so that they did construction. It's a Friday evening. That turned what should have been an 8-hour drive. I was supposed to arrive at 7 p.m., get everything set up, train. It was deload week for me, but I still needed to deadlift and press. And the plan was to do all of that there because I was going to get there at 7, set up everything, hit my deadlift, hit my press, finish however many more steps I needed in order to get to my 10,000 steps a day that I've been doing, and get something to eat, head to the hotel, call it a night, get up, ready to go the next morning. Instead, I didn't get to the gym till a little bit after 10:30 at night. So what that meant is I'm the only person there, right? I don't have a key to get in the gym. So what the gym owner had to do was basically let me in. And he basically did a thing. He said, all right, I'm going to let you in the gym remotely. And I'm going to set the security, the alarms and all the other kind of stuff to come back on at 11. So I had a 30-minute window to get all my stuff into the gym. That means I didn't have time to set up. I had to just take all of this stuff. I got wire reels. I got all kinds of stuff, right, that I use for live streaming. I had to get it all into the gym and get out within 30 minutes. Also, I had to use the bathroom. So that had to happen too. That happened first. Okay. So I get in the gym and I get in the gym, get all my stuff unloaded. Good to go. But then I look at the time. I still needed, after doing all that, I still needed 5,000 steps because so last week I did the show. All right. So that's over 3 hours. Okay. Then I got in the car and I drove to Indiana. Probably 10 hours or so in the car. Right. So it's now almost 11. It's now 11. And I still need to get 5,000 steps or else I'm going to miss my 10,000 steps, right? We can't have that. So I ended up walking until midnight in the empty parking lot outside the gym. This place I've never been, right? Into a strange neighborhood. I'm walking basically doing laps, walking laps in this parking lot. That's this. So the gym is there, and then there are other businesses, right? So I'm walking laps in this empty parking lot, trying to get to my 10,000 steps, right? And I was like, how am I gonna explain this to the police when they show up to find out why I'm walking in this business's parking lot? Why am I walking outside of business at almost midnight? And I can just see whatever cop's face when I say, "Oh, well, I'm doing cardio." Well, there's a gym right there. Why aren't you doing it inside the gym? Because I can't get in. Okay, so I'm doing that, and so I'm walking with my phone out, and that was my plan. I'm just gonna show him my phone with the step counter on it, and that's all I got. If he doesn't go for that, I don't know what else to tell him, right? And then also, I had my pistol handy in case anybody else showed up, because again, I'm not familiar with this area. So the reason why this is even on my mind is because I'm hearing the police sirens going up and down the road while I'm in this area, right? Again, I've never been here. I don't know if I'm in the hood. I don't know how bad the crime rate is in this area. I just know I constantly see police cars going up and down the road with their flashers on, and I'm here walking in this parking lot at night trying to get to my 10,000 steps. All right. Then, so I get it done, get to the hotel. Of course, they couldn't find my reservation at first, but they finally found it. I finally get to sleep after 1. I had to then get up and get over to back to the gym, because remember, I didn't set up. So I get to the gym, I get everything set up. Then I sit all day for the meet. So that's another day shot. And I got to get my steps in, because if I get in the car and come straight back here to Georgia, it's going to pass midnight, and that'll be another day of not getting my steps. So here we go. This is Recliner Rage. All right. So I don't have anywhere to do my steps, right? So I'm in a hotel. So I end up and no, they didn't have a gym. Okay. So I'm in my hotel, pacing back and forth in my hotel room. I did 7,000 steps in my hotel room, back and forth from wall to wall. No, I'm not telling you this because I'm proud of myself. I'm mad. All right. Wall to wall, back and forth to just get my steps in. And then I said, okay, good. I feel good about myself. Got my steps in, got some rest, get back on the road. Guess what I see on the way back? That's right. Construction traffic in Kentucky. And I even went a different direction. They had random roads blocked off. I'm like, whose idea was it to schedule construction for the time when people are going out of town? Friday afternoon is when people go out of town, right? Everybody knows that. Everybody is familiar with this concept. Friday is when people go out of town. So explain to me why it's okay to do construction on a Friday evening, knowing that that's when you're going to inconvenience the most people. I'm trying to breathe through this. In fact, you know what? Special bit of rage. Here we go. Let's do it again.
It's the Recliner of Rage.
It's the Recliner of Rage, 'cause he's not happy.
Special bit of rage to when I got to Nashville, and I was like, let me just pull over and just get 10 minutes. I just wanted 10 minutes, just a 10-minute nap. All right. I'm in Nashville. My parents live in Nashville, but it's like 3 o'clock in the morning. Right. So, which is also why I didn't stop at your place. I didn't hit you up, Jared. Actually, I don't have your phone number. So I guess I would have had to DM you. I appreciate the offer, but I need to have your phone number for that to happen. Because I ain't no way, I'm assuming you're not, I'm assuming you're not up at that time of the night checking your Instagram DMs, okay? So I would have had to DM you on Instagram, but I will keep that in mind for the next time. All I'm saying is, so now special shout out to the crackheads, because I'm in Nashville and I'm like, I'm on fumes right now. So I was like, I'm gonna pull over, get some sleep. And normally I prefer doing stuff like that. You know, if I'm gonna pull over and get some rest, I like to do it at a truck stop. But I'm actually in Nashville, so I didn't see a truck stop. I would have had to drive to get on the other side of Nashville to get to a truck stop. Well, I'm already sleepy, so I said it's just better if I just pull over here. So I pull over at a gas station. I'm like, this should be fairly safe, nice, well-lit area. I pull in, I back in like I always do. I'm back in, right? And I wanted to say, I'm asleep, okay? I'm obviously asleep. Sure enough, I couldn't have been asleep more than 2 minutes. Tap, 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 tap. So I open my eyes. Like, is this the police? Like, who is this bothering me, right? I open my eyes. It's a crackhead. It's a neighborhood crackhead tapping on my window. I don't even know what he wanted, but I will say I was asleep. That means I'm obviously not there to purchase anything from him. I'm not there to sell anything to him. I'm there to sleep. He shows up and would not go away. Would not go away. I'm waving. I'm trying to wave him off. I'm like, come on, man, just go on, go away, right? He would not go away until So I'm waving. He won't go. I'm like, just go away. He won't go away. I'm definitely not rolling my window down. Right? I ain't rolling the window down. So I'm just like, go away, go away. He won't go. He would not leave until I threatened him with my pistol. He would literally, I'm like, what is it? What could you possibly want from me that badly that you could tell I obviously ain't going to give you? And actually, you know what? He may have thought, well, if I just stay here, he'll give me some money to make me go away. Maybe he thought I was going to pay him off. That's not how that went. All right. I was like, dude, there wasn't a Walmart. Okay, so Jay said the Walmart parking lot is number 2. Yeah, there wasn't, like, literally where I was at the point where I'm like, I could feel like myself like nodding off like that, nodding off. And I was like, I need to pull over now. I had gone as far as I could. I just said, nah, man. So I just said, the heck with it. I found a gas. I mean, I know for the future, but I pulled over at this gas station. It wasn't like I was even the only car there. There were other cars in the parking lot. I was like, you know, but it wasn't like there's like a swap meet or a party or anything crazy going on. There were just other cars. So it looked like, oh, cool, there's other people who are resting. I'm going to do the same thing. This dude came, knocked on my windshield. I'm like, dude, whatever you want, I'm not interested. And even if he came over, like, you know, it would still have been irritating, the fact that he came and knocked on my windshield. But if he had just gone away when I was like, nah, I'm not, you know, going like that, and I just waved him off, if he had just gone away at that point, he wouldn't be in Recliner Rage now. But because he would not go away, I was like, man, go away. I don't want it. Go away. And remember, I'm sleepy. So John's a little crankier at the moment than I normally am. So yeah, literally he would not leave. So I threatened him with my pistol. And I was like, I admire your persistence, but I'm annoyed by your stubbornness. And geez. So then, of course, he went away, right? But then I see him go around the corner. I was like, well, hold up. He might be going to go get more people. I don't need this stress in my life. So after sleeping a grand total of 2 minutes, I got to put the car in drive, and I drive on. And I just stayed awake until I got on the other side of Nashville, and then I pulled over there and got some rest. But gee, I'm telling you, man, that not stellar, just not stellar at all. And that's how we end up with Recliner Rage. Recliner Rage is sponsored by Freedom Fitness Equipment, however, and in my opinion, Freedom Fitness Equipment is the best place to get your equipment, as well as the only place to get Garage Gym Life banners. There's no need for you to be in a Recliner Rage when your home gym is set up the way you want it to be, and you can do that by just reaching out to my guy Ashton at Freedom Fitness, freedomfitnessequipment.com, or you can give him a call at 980-216-4860, and he will hook you up. All right, so it is almost 10 till 8, and I'll just go ahead and do the shout out to the Mountain Time Zone now, and then we'll move into the next segment. So Jared said, yeah, if I wake the baby, I'm walking until he goes back. Now, look, first of all, I've got experience, all right? I have done that multiple times, okay? We got 5 kids, and the youngest is 9. All right, we're grandparents. All right, I'm a veteran of putting babies back to sleep. but that don't mean I want to do it. So, and I'm definitely not changing diapers. So yeah, that will be why I didn't, yeah, man, I can't do that. If I knew I was gonna do, it was gonna be a situation like that, I will keep it in mind. And to be fair, I do know other people in Kentucky, but it was just a matter of me just trying to get through there. And because of how, like, I didn't even go through Louisville at all. I on the way up there, I went through Louisville. On the way back, I didn't, because I was trying to avoid the construction traffic. But there was construction on those roads too. That's why it's irritating. It's like you can't get away from it. And anyway, see, I had just calmed down and you got me riled back up. Anyway, but yeah, I will keep your offer in mind. Even though I don't know, I know I'll be in Indiana for Home Gym Con next year, but I don't know when I'll be in Indiana again. I just know I didn't enjoy that part of my visit because, well, you don't care about Indiana. I don't know when I'll be in Kentucky again. Yeah, let's put it like that. All right. So let's go ahead and let's give a shout out to the Mountain Time Zone. Appreciate you guys waking up early with Garage Gym Life. Although you are getting up way too early, I love the fact that you're willing to get up way too early with Garage Gym Life. Please go ahead and click that join button to support the channel if you are already a subscriber. If you're not a subscriber, then I need you to hit the like button and hit subscribe, because we're trying to get to 50,000 subscribers, and I need help from all of you guys to do it. And if you're already a subscriber, also share the channel link with people who you think might be interested in watching the content. As you guys can see, we have a good time, and this is your drive, your morning fitness variety show drive time audio that you can use to get your day and your weekend started off the right way. So help me out, hit like, hit subscribe for me. All right, now we have 1 hour roughly until Kaevon comes on. So I like SIGs, but I'm more of a Glock person, to answer that question. Yeah, I like Glocks because basically you can shoot them with either hand. You don't have to worry about that's the big one. Shoot with either hand. I like the durability. They're not like the top of the line in terms of like the best one out there, but they're very dependable. I've never had any issues. I know some people said that they jam, but I've never had any issues with them jamming. I've had maybe double feed, but that was mostly just like, that's a matter of risk control in my opinion. So that was a very long answer to a short question, but I'm more of a Glock person. Yeah, I mean, well, I'm not active duty anymore. I'm out of the Marine Corps. So basically every firearm I have was paid for with personal funds. Yeah, so and also I'm not into guns enough to like study them. I basically get I buy what's going to do what I want, and then that's it. And then I buy bullets for it. That's it. So I'm not as much into guns as I am gym equipment. Let's put it like that. Onan says it was smart leaving that gas station as the crackhead was coming back with his crackhead army. Yeah, and much like the Marines of the Frozen Chosen, they were probably going to bring back more people than I had bullets. So there you go. You said the crackhead army is organized in Nashville. I believe it. Dude. I mean, now the first wave would have caught, would have had a bad day. But then after that, it's like he's going to look like the Matrix out there, because it's going to be straight hand to hand. I was like, I don't need that. I'm just go ahead. Because then you got to like explain yourself to the police. Well, why didn't you just leave? Like, when you saw him leave, why didn't you leave? So I was like, yeah, I don't need that. So I just left. Anyway. All right. So we've got a little bit, about an hour before Kaevon comes on. So what I need you guys to do is, once again, I need you to, any questions you have for Bells of Steel. I remember we've got some comments related to Bells of Steel. So I'm trying to go through and remember to put a star on those comments. But I need you, if you have a specific question for Bells of Steel, go ahead and drop them in the live chat now. And if you're watching on replay, just post them in the comments and I will pass them along to Kaevon. But since he's going to be on here in a little bit, go ahead and put your questions. Like, for example, Joyce, if you'd like to know more about the Bells of Steel Juno bar that just dropped, then go ahead and, put your question in there. Joyce, I missed your question earlier, your comment earlier. You said you're not hating on the pink. We're talking about barbells. Said you picked up on it. You said the diameter is only one aspect, specifically about a woman's bar. Said, thank you. I'm off the recliner now. Joyce, I'm glad I was able to give you a safe space to de-stress by expressing yourself. I'm always here. We're always here to listen. When any of you guys have some rage, you got to get off your chest. Hey, this is a safe space to go ahead and express yourself. Let's see here. I think I'm just scrolling back to make sure I didn't. There we go. I knew there was another one. So far what I have is Jared's comment about the adjustable bench from Bells of Steel that will not be black. Carp's comment about the Juno bar from Bells of Steel, and there's another one is also from Carp, where he mentions that Bells has a rack attached leg curl, leg extension that works with an attachment that works with any adjustable bench. So I've got those there. Okay, I will add this. I don't think you're gonna get any takers for Kaevon shaving his beard. I don't see that happening. But I'm gonna give you guys some direction because I want to get some. Also, we're gonna get feedback, right? So rather I want to get the questions that you already have, but then I want to get your reaction to something that Kaevon has specifically asked for feedback on. So he said he did an AMA on Reddit for the past 2 days. And he said the theme of development for 2025 is going to be focused on single purpose plate loaded / cable machines. Some examples are like a seated row, a pec deck, maybe even more niche items like chest presses, standing and seated calf machines. Okay. So what do you guys think about that idea about them focusing on that sort of on that part of equipment development? Single purpose plate loaded machine. So like a seated row machine, a pec deck, chest press machine. Probably that would be plate loaded, but maybe it'll be selectorized, and calf machines. Do you like that idea? Go ahead and put your response to that in the chat. Okay, so that's the first one. All right, and I'll tell you what, I'll actually do this to make it, because that way you guys don't have. So I'm putting that right there. It's in the chat. So that's the first question. All right, this is the theme of next year's product development. All right, do you like that idea? So put your response to that. And I'll put there, Jared says that Kaevon's giveaways on the AMA are very generous. So right there. All right, next question. I know what I think, but should Bells of Steel release this muscle mug? All right, so let me see here. Me copy the hyperlink. This is a muscle mug from Bells of Steel. And I'm going to share my screen so you guys can, that's what they call the muscle mug attachment. All right, so let's play that. You guys see it's got an attachment there because you can use it as an attachment for as a cable attachment for pulley handle for some reason. So what do you guys think about that? I do not have, I just, what do you guys think about that? Okay. Let's see here. Jay. So Jay's got his, all right. So I see your question, Jay. All right. All right. Jared says the mug. Okay. Jared said the mug, at least it does something. He said, I'm not into throwing money at stuff that won't get used, but I love that it does something. Yeah. So based upon the angle, all I'm going to say to you is you can only use it if it's empty. You can only use it for that stuff if it's empty. Because if you got anything in it, you're going to spill it on the floor in the process of using it. But it's interesting. So we got a no vote on. So Jay agrees with me. Voting no on the mug. Yeah. We're unanimous right there. Yeah, or frozen. Yeah. Like I said, I don't feel like that's. I'm assuming that was a joke, but it was one of the questions he asked. Next question, and I'm going to put this in the chat because this is a little bit more involved. Should Bells of Steel be putting a lot of effort into a tech add-on? So whether that be an app or a smart pin that will count your reps and knows the weight you're using, or any kind of thing. So do you want Bells of Steel to get into the tech exercise equipment game? So go ahead and put your comments to your responses to that in there as well. You know what? I will pass that on to Kaevon. Jared is saying, why not a limited release for the mug, 50 or 100 units, and just have it come back every once in a while? Okay. So the other question is, should Bells of Steel be putting a lot of effort into a tech add-on? So basically, should Bells of Steel come out with an app? They already have, in case you're not aware, Bells of Steel already has something they call the it's like a program. Where is this thing? It's a workout program called Couch to 500K. Yeah, let me go ahead and I'll show you guys that. They're not the only equipment company I know of that does this, but it's called Couch to 500K. It's a workout program. It's a digital product. So basically it's a digital download. I'm assuming it's part of their one of their collaborations with Alex Leonidas. So, but you buy it, it's digital download, gives you structure, obviously there's movement demos in there as well. There's Alex Leonidas there. So yeah, there you go. And they've got that, but would you like to see them expand on that and go into more of an app? Specifically, let's say like 531 has an app. So what would you like to see them do something like that for Bells of Steel? And maybe with I have like a strongman centric focus, like basically something that you can adjust depending on what your training goal is, right? So what's your level of interest in that? Jay said, I'm new to the whole home gym culture. I'd rather see things go old school versus modern tech. He said, you like new Mustangs as a tribute versus Teslas. Okay. All right. You say you're just an analog guy. Hey, I understand, dude. Yeah. Heck, I'm using a digital product right now. So I've got my digital mixer that I use to mix up pre-workout. But I also like I was like an old school shaker bottle. Let's just say it like that. I don't mind stirring my food stuff with a spoon. It's cool, he says as he takes a drink. I guess it depends on what the thing is. The thing with and I'm not really very app heavy when it comes to fitness related stuff too, because what I've run into with apps is sometimes the stuff I do is so kind of non-mainstream. Maybe I say esoteric, because I like a lot of the old time strongman movements. You're not going to find a lot of that stuff in a normal app. So what that ends up being is, so I use an app to track my main lifts. So a normal barbell back squat, a normal flat bench with a bar, a normal standing press with a barbell, and a normal deadlift, right? But then, and I track the deadlift with conventional and sumo. But then I've also got the other movements I like doing. So like a Steinborn, I don't really have that tracked to that the same way. It's just like I have just listed as an accessory movement that I put in periodically. Usually I'll do it on like a deload week just for something interesting to do. Occasionally I use it as an accessory movement during my normal training cycle, but it's basically like just an add-on, and I don't track the numbers as closely. So like I'm not micro loading my Steinborn, for example. Same thing, I don't micro load like my axle bar bench press. That's just an accessory movement. So for me, an app isn't going to have all that stuff, and it just takes me, it just becomes tedious to plug all of that stuff in there when I can just type it into something and just have it, and then I just know, and then I just keep track of what my numbers are. And a lot of times I don't even really, be honest with you, sometimes let's say I'm doing so let's go back to axle bar bench press, right? I don't really track my weight progression in axle bar bench press because it's an assistant movement. So it might show up at various points in a training session. So sometimes I do it right after bench, sometimes I do it right after standing press. Maybe sometimes it's the second movement, sometimes it's the third or fourth movement. So what I do with it is what I did with lifts when I first started working out, and that is I just pick a weight that feels heavy, and then I do it for the number of reps that I want. And if it's too heavy to get the reps that I want, I take some weight off and get it done, right? So for me, that's the issue with the app, is like it doesn't, to me, a lot of times they don't give you the flexibility to do what I just described. So a lot of times they don't work for me. So yeah. Matt has entered the building. He said, sorry, I'm late. Work's busy this week. He's gonna hit me a DM because he has a free Friday in a couple of weeks if I still want him to join. Heck yeah, man. Of course. All right. So what I'm gonna do is I'll send you the scheduler, because then you can pick the day that works for you, and you can we can make sure that there's not already somebody scheduled in that time slot that will work for you. Okay. So I'm gonna send you the scheduler when the live is over today. I'll DM you the scheduler I use for my guests, because it also will adjust the time zone for you automatically, so you don't have to figure out what time it is for you and what time it is for me, and if that works with the show. But yeah, man, I'd be glad to have you come on. That's cool. Rory Ellis, hey man, we missed you earlier. We already had Jon Black on. I know you probably had a busy day, but you can catch him on the replay. Your fellow member of the U.S. Army. Okay, that's actually a good one. So you say you'd like to see an app like Juggernaut AI that does strongman training. You know, the one thing I thought about, I don't know if you remember Brandon Lilly had the cube method, and then I forgot what the guy's name is, but he did the cube method for strongman. He was an elite FTS columnist, so that looked like it was kind of interesting. But to me, you would think that Juggernaut would be a good fit for that, because Chad Wesley Smith didn't come. Well, he ended up in powerlifting, but in college he was a thrower, so his athletic background isn't like a straight powerlifting background necessarily. So I would have thought that he would have something in there, but then Brandon Lilly came from a powerlifting background. So yeah, that seems like something that'd be kind of interesting, because you can follow these templates, but the problem with the templates is you still have to do the math and do the work to adjust things for you. I mean, be honest with you, I still remember when we were busting out Excel spreadsheets to track our progressions. And then you kind of still had to go with feel, like, okay, well, how did that last set feel, and was I where I needed to be? What were the other factors that went into whether I got the number of reps or not? Like, how much sleep did I get? You kind of still had to kind of like figure it out. unless you had a coach. So I can see the use for that. Let me go ahead and star that. I'll throw that to Kaevon. All right, so you do like the AI thing because they have the Barbell app add-on that monitors your speed and range of motion. So Rory says, I don't care for tech as a whole, especially not in his gym, but the Beyond Power Voltra is one piece that I want most in my gym right now. You know, I saw it, and it's not something I can get super excited about. It just made my old man act up. You know, my old man, hey, you kids, get off my lawn, act up. I was just like the big reason why I don't like a bunch of tech stuff is because to me that's, and I will say this is heavily affected mostly by my time in the Marine Corps, because you know, you get used to like being in places where you're far from tech support and stuff is going to break down. You just start having this thing like where I don't like stuff that's too complicated that's going to break down. I want to make it as easy as possible to maintain and to have as few moving parts as possible. But yeah, I've seen a bunch of people say good things about the Beyond Power Voltra. So it looks like a solid piece of gear. It's just, I'm not into tech. Like my wife loves tech, so she might actually like it. But I'm like, you know, like we've had people offer to give us like those exercise mirror gadget things. So it's a mirror basically, and it's got like all your workout stuff. It's like you look at the mirror and it's got a video playing. Okay. Yeah, I ain't into that. So we've had people offer them to us and we won't do it. Now, I recognize that they're good for some people. They're just not good so I'm not saying that they're bad. I'm just saying that they're not for me personally. Yeah. All right, Matt said he'll be coming on 2 days before his record attempt. So exciting time. Oh, yeah, that'd be perfect, man. Yeah, come on. I said, you're always welcome, dude. Heck yeah. I'd be happy to have you come on. So also I came in the conversation. Rory said I came in the conversation late, so my Beyond Power comment may not be relevant now. I hear the rest of the comments. Nah, you're good. You're good, man. Yeah. So the mirror. So first of all, it's not the mirror, but it's one of their competing. Well, not one. I've had multiple brands reach out to me with a product that competes with the mirror, and each time I've been like, so we've got one that we're going to do, but it's still not coming to our gym because number one is I'm not into it anyway. Number two, it's like, well, where are we going to put it? Because wherever we put it, it has to be somewhere where it won't get damaged when we're doing our other stuff in here. And it's literally not, and it's not a good fit for our gym. But we do have a review of one of those products coming up, and it's just going to be in somebody else's gym. So we're going to do the review. We're actually doing the unboxing and everything else there because it's a good fit for them. And that actually goes back to what I said earlier, where I was like, you know, you have influencers who like they only review stuff that I try to do my channel differently because you got a lot of influencers who only review stuff that they personally want. So basically they claim the channel is about you, the viewer, but it's really about them. It's like a way for them to outfit their gym. And also they only review stuff that they know that you guys are likely to buy so that you're already kind of familiar with, or at least you're familiar with the brand and there's already some buzz because they're hoping to make money off of the affiliate clicks, right? So we don't do it that way. Instead, I literally mean that I review stuff for you guys' sake. So I've reviewed stuff that I had zero interest in keeping. Like you guys can see a lot of the power racks that I've done. Well, every power rack I've done a review on, except for the one that I just did a review on, is no longer in my gym because I do a lot of those reviews so that if somebody asks me about it, I can say I've used it. So for example, I've had multiple people since I did my review of the Makolo, I've had multiple people ask me or post something somewhere like on Reddit about the Makolo, and I've been able to answer it because I did the review, right? I wasn't in a situation where I was like, It's just not, yeah, just get a rep. Not because I know anything about it, but because it's, number one, it's an easy answer, or because I get an affiliate code with rep, or just get a fringe because I have an affiliate code. No, I don't want to do that. I want to be able to give good answers based upon personal experience with something. I can tell you I don't like Bowflex because I use Bowflex Select Tech dumbbells. Okay. And I can tell you my experience with them. Yes, they've been upgraded since then, but I can still tell you my personal experience with them. And I think that that has more value than me just giving a knee-jerk answer. So there's that. So I say all that to say that the mirror isn't the one that we're going to be doing. It's going to be a competing product, but it's not for us. We're going to put it in somebody else's gym, and it's a good fit for them. So I'm looking forward to playing with it, but then I'm going to leave it at their house and come on back to mine. And so Jay says motorless treadmills. Belza still actually has an interesting treadmill design. I've used it, but on a very basic level. Ashley Hromiak has actually done a review of it. I know a couple other people who've done reviews of their of the Belza steel treadmill. But basically, it's a treadmill that you can do like farmer's carries with while on the treadmill, right? I've used it, but only for the treadmill function because I was warming up before I lifted. So I can't really tell you. It felt all right, but that's all I can tell you about that. So the expedience thing keeps popping up. Carp said the expedience thing keeps popping up. Yeah, man, it's like you get. So stuff goes in cycles because, again, you've got people who are like, you got companies that want to compete with Peloton. So they create stuff. You got like Lululemon. You think Lululemon decided to buy the mirror because they got tired of selling clothes? No, it's because they wanted to compete. They saw how many people Peloton was attracting. And so they wanted to compete with Peloton in their market. So they bought the mirror. Same thing with and the mirror came about because they wanted to compete with Beachbody, So yeah. What's the weight limit? Hang on. So, we got Jonathan back. Said No Fade Channel checking back in. Yeah, man. Good to have you back, dude. So Tattoo saying said that's the only style treadmill I buy. What's the weight limit? I got 240 kilograms. English strongest in February. I don't know what the weight limit is on the treadmill. I know where I can find out though. Let me go. Let's go. That's not even a question I have to wait for Kaevon to be on here to answer. Treadmill. All right. So let me go and share my screen because they've actually got multiple. They got multiple options here. All right, so you see they got the wooden residential manual treadmill, which is what you were asking about, possibly, Jay. So if you buy it today, it'll ship by December 31st. All right, but here's the Blitz, right? And this that's what it looks like. Like I said, I've been on it. This is what it looks like if you're using the farmer's carry function, which I have not used. Ashley did, and she did a review of it. But you asked about what is you want to know what the load limit is. So let's find out. I'm scrolling down, and I'm trying to read real fast. Product specs. All right, there we go. Weight capacity is 287. So 287 pounds for the user, and each weight horn looks like it'll hold 165 pounds. So that's the other thing is like they're independent. The weight horns are independent. So yeah, I don't know. I guess you'd have to decide if that's enough for you. To me, it seems like you still would have to. The idea is like you're walking for a long enough time for it to be a challenge. But, that'd be some good training for your grip. Carb said, Bowflex got so many of us. Dude, I'm telling you, we were easy victims, weren't we? Because when I got the Bowflex adjustable dumbbells, I think it was 2005. Yeah, it was 2005. So I'm thinking, man, I thought it was going to be 2005. I thought it was going to be an upgrade from the little dumbbell. So like when you guys saw that Jon, when we had Jon Black on earlier, and he was showing those adjustable dumbbell handles that he got from, I think he said Dick's Sporting Goods. I had essentially the same thing that I picked up from Walmart, and then I just went on went on Craigslist and bought a bunch of standard plates to increase the available weight, right? And then Bowflex comes out with their Select Tech, and I remember at the time I was like, man, I wish it went up to 100 pounds, but I went and I got the ones that went up to 52 pounds, and I was like, well, at least I know, because it took so much time. This goes back to that time thing. I only had so much time to train before I had to go to work. So it's like, this way I basically can go up to 52 pounds. Anything up to 52 pounds, it's going to be fast. And then I can load my adjustable dumbbells with the standard plates for anything over 52 pounds. And so it's going to be fast. It'll be convenient, good to go. Man, those things broke. Those damn Bowflex dumbbells broke on me. And I still remember I pick it up and everything seems right. And then one of the plates just slid out. It wasn't over my face, but it fell out. And I was like, oh, heck no. That was the last time that I used it. Excuse me. That was the last time that I used it. I was like, I'm done with that. So done. All right, looks like we 50 Cal Fitness is on here. Derek is giving a shout out. And shout out is in order. So Rory has worked with PRX on his handles, which is good because you guys, that's actually a happy ending to the story, because you guys remember like there was all that controversy a few months ago about PRX and the handles and lever arms and all that. So shout out to Jake from Garage Gym Radio for being part of helping to kind of broker a peace agreement. Jake was at the Peace Summit between Kyle from Kaizen DIY. I think the guy from Vendetta was there as well. And so anyway, so then PRX said that they were going to be willing to work with more creators in the home gym community. And so this is an outgrowth of that. So I love that this happened. So I'm happy for you, Rory, that you got this done. And also I am glad that PRX honored their word, because their roots are as home gym owners who started a company. You know what I mean? And they started a company based off of something that at the time, most of the big equipment companies said was not necessary. It was like basically the folding, PRX pioneered the folding squat rack. And I still remember, if you've never watched their Shark Tank episode, you should check it out, because it's amazing how many of the sharks thought that there wasn't any need for the folding squat rack, right? They said, how are you going to do? Only Kevin O'Leary, who was the last person I thought would be interested, was willing to partner with them. And as a result, PRX has been able to grow to where they are now. And I love the fact that they reached back and they're working with creators like Rory. So that's awesome. And Rory said, thanks, Derek. It's unreal to see my product offered on their website. Man, of course. I can only imagine what it feels like to go on this company that's got this platform, that's got this level of visibility, and see something that you created that once existed only inside your head, available to purchase. So that's a huge milestone, man. So let's see. Jon Black said, I tried the Select Tech and didn't care for them. I'm telling you, man, I know that so you've got the Nuo Bell, which seems a lot sturdier. Ashley is also a former she's a former Army Ranger, and she's got a pair of them at her gym. And she seems pretty happy with them. She told me that she's pretty happy with them when we did a tour of her gym. So, which is available here on my channel. So you guys can check that out. But I just like the Bowflex Select Tech. I just feel like it's one of those things that they made and just said, oh, well, it's for the home gym. And so it doesn't have to be as durable as something you would make for a public gym, which is completely wrong. And I understand the thought process because you're thinking, okay, so many people are going to use this thing in a public gym that there's just going to be a lot more wear and tear than when some guy is using it in his, in his gym at his house. Even if he uses it 5 days a week, that's still a lot less than the hundreds of people that go through a public gym, every week. But durability is durability, man. And I'm telling you, those things, they work. And you didn't have to do anything wrong for them to fail on you. It's just like basically it wasn't necessarily a super expensive lesson, but it was expensive enough that I wasn't willing to give them a second chance, even when they upgraded their handles. I know that they upgraded the handles. I remember when they said, oh, this is a more durable design. I don't care. I'm not willing to. I just went ahead and got dumbbells and a dumbbell rack, and I'm happy, and I never looked back. Kurt said, I'd argue that most of the charts were correct. I value PRX, but folding racks are overrated. I don't agree. I think folding racks are great if you want to be able to still park inside your garage. And I would say that the majority of people who have a home gym are not dedicated to their home gym being as significant a part of their home as it is for us. So for me, I have no intention of ever parking in my garage. I just don't have any desire to. And where I live, the climate is temperate enough that it doesn't matter. But to their point where they live, if you park your car, they live in an area where you got to put a blanket over your car or else your battery will die, right? And so if you're in that situation, I can see, if your garage is a normal size, you might want, or you know what, forget that. Forget about the car dying. What about the fact that your wife might want to park inside the garage? She wants to park in the garage. So I just say that the reality for most people who are home gym owners is different than it is for you and me. Name 10 people that actually fold their rack back. Okay, hold on a second. That's a little bit of a straw man because I'm gonna read that. So when I read that comment, Kurt, and I know you and I argue about all kinds of stuff, all right, which is fine. But I'm gonna say that the fact that I know them, whether I know them or not, is irrelevant to them existing. What matters is that they exist. So I just had two people's names pop into my head just like that. Actually, well, and there were three, because although the person I'm thinking about has passed away, his wife still uses the gym. His widow still uses the gym. So that's three right there that I can think of. So one person is in Buffalo. I'm sorry. So one was in Rochester, New York, and they folded and unfolded their rack all the time. Then another one, I think she lives in Idaho. And then there's a lady who lives in Florida, and she folds and unfolds her rack because, she just wants to. Because if it rains, that allows her to use the space under the overhang where the rack is for some of the stuff that she normally goes and does in her backyard out from underneath the rack. So that's three people right there. And if I put more energy into it, which I'm not, then I'm sure I could come up with more people. But to me, when I see that, it's kind of like when somebody tells me most people of whatever persuasion behave this way, right? And I'm like, you can't say most because you don't know enough of the people from that demographic to be able to say most of them. Like when somebody, okay, so I remember somebody telling me that most Christians believe that drinking is wrong. Okay, so number one, that's not true, and number two, I'm like, you can't say most Christians, because how many billion Christians there are on the planet for you to be able to say most means that you know a significant enough percentage of that billion people to be able to say most, and so you can't. All right, so yeah. Again, I'm going to tell you that you may say it's the minority, and you could be right, but if and I'm just going to make up a number. So if 1 million people are home gym owners, right, and only 10% of them want to have a folding squat rack, then that to me is enough of a population size for them to be necessary. So that's just what I say. All right. Carp said, yeah, my wife parks on the other side of the gym, so unless I build a separate building, I'm not getting more space. Yeah, legit. Dude, everybody needs a Rory workshop gym. Rory's gym is huge. Huge. Oh, it looks like you just got invited to go over there and help him break it in. All right, so here we go. Carp said, I have some friends who are CrossFitters. One has a PRX rack. The other one has a Rogue folding rack, and they're both folded out all the time, and they park in the garage unless they're working out. Then they pull their cars out and use and then when they're working out, they pull the cars out and use the entire garage. I'm not saying that your experience is invalid. I'm just telling you that you don't know a big enough sample size of the population of people who either want, need, or have a folding rack to be able to say the word most. It's just not accurate. It's not mathematically accurate. It's not statistically accurate. It's not accurate. So I can't use my experience to say whether or not something should exist based upon whether I like it or not. That would be the same as me saying that there's no need for the Juggernaut AI app because I don't use it. To me, it's unnecessary, right? Because I don't use it. But I don't ever say that because there are enough people who want, need it, enjoy it, and use it. Who want, need, use it, and enjoy it. That's all I'm saying. And I think that's, especially from my perspective about how I approach home gym ownership, I try my best to not judge the necessity of a thing, the need for a thing, based upon just my experience about whether it fits into my training or not. Oh, here goes Rory. How do we get derailed on this? So my friend from work who knows absolutely nothing about home gyms bought a PRX folding rack specifically so his wife can park in the garage. They fold and use their rack very frequently. Hey, Arlen. Hey, what's up? Arlen says, I fold my rack. Yeah, Arlen is one of the most inspiring people I've ever seen on the platform. I just saw her compete at USPC Americas as well. And so, yeah, Arlen is a awesome powerlifter champion. And she says she folds her rack. And Roy said that also just shows the reach of PRX to go aftermarket that knows nothing about a home gym. That's right. He said that no, Carp doesn't fold his rack. And Kurt says, I do. Okay, y'all are just arguing about that. Okay. Seems like CrossFitters love it. Yep. Okay, so now I did not say that. Rory is saying that there are undertones of Air Force is lame in what I said. I didn't say that. I said nothing of that. I'm gonna let you guys have your Army versus Air Force thing. I just let y'all go ahead and have that. I'm not even gonna that. I'm just gonna skip all of that right there. All I'm saying is that a folding rack is not useless. I'm glad it exists in the market. And the other thing about it too is that the style of folding rack matters, because I know some people who bought like the it's not really Dutch door. What do you call it? The swinging door. That's where one's the kind of bat wing style where they fold and unfold like that. And to me, that style is not as functional as the PRX style. But PRX has a patent on their style, so there's not much you can do about it. But so I'm just saying, if somebody buys a rack that folds and unfolds this way, unfolds like doors, like double doors, that may be more of a hassle to them than if they had the folding unfolding PRX style, which would then lead to changing their behavior patterns, and they may be more willing to fold and unfold their rack as well. So there's that. All right, let's see here now. So I need you guys. I love the activity. I love how much talking and chatting back and forth there is. So I need you. I need you all. I'm going to post this comment that Jade said. That's why I just laughed, because I just saw Jade's comment about a folding barbell. It said, whoever designs a folding barbell will be a rich person. He ain't going to be rich off of me. I could not do it. I wouldn't be able to do it. But I need you guys to go ahead. Let's go. I still need to get your comments and questions for Kaevon. And also the stuff I posted in the chat earlier. What do you think about the idea of Bells are still focusing most of their production next year on plate loaded machines that are maybe for a single purpose? So like a chest press, a seated row machine, a pec deck, or a standing calf or a seated calf machine. And what are your thoughts about a tech add-on, about basically Bells are still coming out with an app or even creating some sort of smart dumbbell that would count your reps and that kind of thing and keep track of that for you? Go ahead and keep putting your comments in there. Yeah, PRS got a lot of free press. I'm like, hey, when that's just the way the show goes, man. We give a bunch of free advertising to people that and it's unintentional, but I kind of love, that's one reason I love this. And even with I just did a podcast, the first episode of a podcast with Johnny Lane from the USPC, and that's more like a standard podcast. So we just recorded it. We actually recorded it last night. It's up on the USPC website, the USPC YouTube channel right now. In fact, I'll give you guys, I should have done this ahead of time, but I'll give you guys the link to it so you can so you guys can check it out. Do me a favor and go check it out. We're pretty much talking about the USPC Americas, talking about the aftermath of that, how we like that, what, things that we learned, things that, we thought could be better, that kind of thing. But there's also stuff in there just about training and lifting in general. So I think you guys will enjoy that. So go ahead and check that out. And I'm putting the link in the live chat. And then I'm also going to put the link in the comment in the video description. So you guys, if you're watching on replay, or if you're listening on Podbean, it'll be in the episode description as well. So you guys will be able to check it out on YouTube. And I encourage you guys to do that. In fact, not even encourage, I'm asking you, please go check it out and let me know what you think. But that, like I said, is more of a standard podcast like you guys are accustomed to, whereas this is more like a radio show where you can call in, and except because we're using the live chat instead of just call-ins, we actually can get comments from more people. Like you ever listen to the radio and they do call-in show, then you're limited to how many comments you can make and how long your call can be, because they got to get other callers in, right? Well, with this, you can comment you can drop 3 hours worth of comments in the chat, and I'll see it, So I really love the organic nature of this. So even though we go off on tangents, doesn't bother me, because I'm like, this is what people want to talk about. And I'm fully willing, if you guys, I'll say this too. So I've got a full sheet of topics. I always have a full sheet of topics, right? But if you guys say something in the chat, let's say you don't like what I'm talking about. Now, if I have a guest, hey, we're gonna ask your questions to the guest, and I'll ask the questions I had for them. But if we're just talking like I am now, and you guys have a topic that you want to talk about more than whatever I'm talking about, you literally just have to put it in the chat, ask me that question, and you'll see I'll go off on that tangent, and we'll talk about that. I'm completely fine with that, right? Because I just like that. So now, for example, por ejemplo, as Senora Jones would have had me say when I was in 8th grade Spanish, we're talking about folding barbells right now. So Carp said, Jay, they already made those and sell them at Walmart. Is a 3-piece barbell. You screw it together. You do not want one. I 100% agree. You do not want a barbell. I don't want any kind of sectional or folding barbell. I'm not into that, mostly because I love myself too much to expose myself to the possibility of that thing coming apart and ruining my life. I already told you that I got mad about the bells, the Bowflex Selectech dumbbell, part of it falling out. Ain't no damn way I'm gonna get a barbell and put that over my face, lips, and teeth for that to fall and hit me. Potentially. No, absolutely not. Carlos said, I saw that, Carp. I just don't trust those bars. Yeah, I don't trust them specifically. No. There you go, Jay. Now you're back with us. 3-piece barbells from Walmart. You'll pass. And Arlen said, if it falls in your head, it's got some bite. Yeah, exactly. Like, nah. We ain't doing that. Here we go. Jay, I'm sad at you right now, Jay. He said, what if it was made by Rogue or American Barbell with hinges? Then it would be expensive and a bad idea. It'd be a bad, expensive idea. No. What the heck? All right. Sorry, I just checked that because I making sure Kaevon's not texting me. All right. Anyway, let's see. What's the next one? And you lose teeth. Yeah. Carlos said everything about that screams gym fail and you'll lose teeth. Exactly. Every idea is not a good one. You know how they say, like, there's no such thing as a dumb question. Yeah, but there are dumb ideas. All right? There are dumb ideas. So we ain't into that. Carlos said, I'm sure there's a waiver involved. Also, by the way, if you guys aren't following Carlos on Instagram, you didn't see Carlos and his fancy dancy ring light that he's got going on. I meant to bring that up because I had there was a serious degree of envy. All right, I'm trying to see if we got something showing what the light looks like. Okay, so all right, we'll have to go right there. All right, so there we go. I'm gonna share my screen real fast so you guys can see this thing on Charlie B's. Look at that, man. Look at that. Look at that. And look at him, he got that self-satisfied look on his face. Got the dang, what looks like the control panel for the Starship Enterprise in front of him. I mean, come on, man. Carlos, you messing with me. I'm over here with my dang conventional light bulb on the ceiling. You ain't got to make me feel like that. Also, guys, I'm still checking my DMs. I only see one person who sent me a picture of their Bells of Steel stuff. So if you've got Bells of Steel stuff and you're watching this, if you're watching live, if you're watching on replay, then I can't do anything for you. So so the show ends at about 9:45 a.m. Eastern time. If it is after that time and you're watching this, do not DM me pictures of your Bells of Steel gym equipment. However, if it is currently 8:43 a.m. Eastern time, so between now and 9:30 a.m. Eastern time, go ahead and DM at Garage Gym Life with your pictures of Bells of Steel stuff so I can click on it and show Kaevon. Gives you a chance to kind of show off your gym candy too. Jay, here you go, coming back again with the knurled Atlas stones. You know what? Here's what you need to do with that. Kurt, what you need to do, you need to reach out to Kurt. So Jay, I want you to reach out to the Kurt Locker, and you can find him on. I gave you guys his Instagram already in the live chat. Go to the Kurt Locker on Instagram and DM him detailed descriptions of your idea for the knurled Atlas stone, so he can pass it on to the sponsors since he does the strongman throwdown, he's got access to the correct people to make this dream a reality. Okay, leave me out of it. And then you guys can work together to create something that matches your vision, and whatever the product, the people, the engineers can come up with. And so then there you go. You've got, and that will make that happen, because I don't like to put cold water on a person's idea. I just don't be part of it. So go ahead and reach out to, once again, the Kurt Locker on Instagram. Now there are two Kurt Lockers. There are two Kurt Lockers. Okay, and you want to make sure that you're going to go to the one with the underscore. Okay, make sure you're going to the Kurt Locker with the underscore Kurt Locker. Okay, and that's the one that you want to. In fact, send it to every Kurt Locker you find on Instagram. Just go ahead, just send that in a DM. I think that'll work. Yeah, I saw the new Kabuki. Can I speak English? Yes, Carp, I did see the new Kabuki owner video on Garage Gym Radio. I didn't watch it. It's in my treadmill watch list. So I'll probably end up watching it today. I saw the clip he posted on Instagram, but I haven't watched the full video yet. I'm actually very interested in it because in fact, let me see here. In fact, it is, yeah, here it is. So I've watched this way. You guys can kind of see how much of it I've seen already, which is not a copious amount, but there you go. So you guys see, I've already started watching it a little bit, but we were talking about Kabuki when I was on Garage Gym Radio last time, and we're talking about whether they were going to survive. So that video is very interesting to me because I want to see like what the vision is for the new owner, now that he's taken over, what direction they want to take the company in. So that is something that's on my list to watch. If you guys are interested in it, I can post a link in the live chat here or in the video description. So just somebody let me know that you're interested in it, and I'll be happy to post that link. Jon Black said, I've heard plenty of stupid questions. Oh yeah. Yes, I've heard. So for me, a stupid question is something that you ask me that you didn't put any, when it shows that you didn't put any thought into it. Like it's something you could have answered yourself if you just kind of put some thought into it. But I also say that sometimes people ask questions because they're trying to fill the space. They're just basically making conversation with you, right? And then sometimes also I think people ask questions because they want to see if your perspective is different from theirs. Like they want to be able to come at it from your perspective instead of just theirs. But yeah, I've heard some questions. I'm like, you could have kind of put some thought into that, and we wouldn't be having this negative experience right now. No, I'm completely not involved in your knurled Atlas Stone scheme. I'm sorry, not scheme, idea, project. Yeah. Kurt, yeah, see, Kurt says do it. Yes, I'm telling you. In fact, Jay, you got a little bit of time. I encourage you to draw up some very detailed diagrams and schematics of this knurled Atlas Stone. Maybe you could even reach out to Mike Bartos. He makes a stone of steel, and see if he can put knurl. So see, look at this. I'm helping you. I'm not involved, but I'm helping you because you can start out with the stone of steel as your basic template, and then knurl it. And yeah, so there, I've given you everything you need. Y'all, you go right ahead and run with it, man. Run with it. All right, so Rory said he has watched it. He said it was a good interview. Said he wished Jake would have asked a little bit more about why or how the new owner got involved in working out. I'd like to know that he actually knows the gym space. That is interesting. You know what? I'll bet you can Google that. I'm not telling you to Google it. I'm saying like, because now you got me thinking and I'm saying like, how would I find that out? So I'm gonna try. Now you gave me an interesting little research project to see like what's the background of the new owner of Kabuki, because we know Chris Duffin's background. That's all over the internet. He was a powerlifter for years, and then he's an engineer. So yeah, that is interesting. I want to find out. Okay. So here we go. All right, Rory. I didn't do this. You did this to yourself. One, you capitalize Marine each and every time, unless you're talking about type of equipment. Okay, so like Marine batteries or something, those can be lowercase. But if it's United States Marine, that is always capitalized. Okay, because we are the grown-ups in the room, but also grammatically, that's what you do. That's one. Number two, if not for the Marine Corps, the Army it would never be safe enough for the Army to actually come and set up a beachhead anywhere. All right. So I want you to just let's just go historically. All right. Look at how many of y'all died assaulting the beaches of Normandy, whereas we were able to take on, and y'all had help. Okay. It took all of y'all to fight the Germans. Meanwhile, the Marine Corps is like, okay, I tell you what, we'll handle the Pacific by ourselves. You and all your allies go fight the Germans. Okay, that's all I got to say about that. Also, y'all were losing World War I until the Marine Corps showed up and helped put a stop to the war. Because you look at when the Marine Corps showed up, and we didn't even send the whole Marine Corps for World War I, but we sent enough. And in fact, as I recall, when the Marines got there, I remember Gunnery Sergeant Dan Daly is the one. He wasn't Gunnery Sergeant at the time. He showed up, and the people he got there were in full retreat. The Marines had to find a way to the battlefield. They ended up riding bicycles to get to the front. Everybody's in full retreat, and that's when Dan Daly said, "Retreat! We just got here, and we ended up winning the war." All right, Bellow Wood, all that. Okay, there you go. We had inferior weapons, and we still put the Germans to flight and let them understand what not to do. Okay, so that was a learning lesson. It's like, number one, we taught you what not to do, how not to be. So there you go. So Roy said he's not a gym guy, so he just walks up. I mean, he looks kind of jacked in the video. Is he just wearing a tight shirt? And extra, which would also be interesting information. That would also be fascinating if he's just wearing an extra tight shirt. Let me look at this dude again. Hold on now. You telling me he's not a gym guy? Let's see here. Rich Galgano. All right, so let's go here. Rich Galgano Kabuki Power. You got me looking this up right now. I was not supposed to be doing this before. Rich Kabuki Strength Rider. Images. Boom. All right. Yeah, okay. He's done. All right. What's going on with Rich Galgano? Oh, wow. Rich Galgano email and phone number. I'm not going to click on that. We'll go with this. All right, so this is the guy. So let's go with let me share a screen right here. You telling me this dude doesn't work out at all? That's horrible. Why would you he's the co-founder of Windy City Wire. Maybe he just carries wire reels around. It's possible. I mean, look at him standing there in that picture. All right. You telling me he's just wearing a muscle suit like they do in some of those superhero movies? That's disappointing. Kaevon question. He's asking for the single rocket strap. What are his thoughts on it? Okay, that's a good one. And in fact, let me hit Kaevon up right now. Make sure Kaevon's ready. Let's see here. Bells are still. If I could find it, yeah. Kaevon. Are you ready? Are you ready? There we go. All right. All right, there we go. It's not like I can call him. I guess technically I could call him. That wouldn't necessarily be riveting content though. Hey, let's all call Kaevon together. We're not doing that. When I'm ready, when you are. There we go. I think this happened last time. All right, ask the price for the Bell's new Smith attachment. All right, Christian. I've got that starred. Has anyone seen the promo for the Hydra desk? Yes, I saw it. I like the idea. I'm thinking about where. So anytime I see something like that, I always think like, well, where would I put it, right? So let's start there. So for me, it would be more. I would like something that went onto one post. I actually have a like a rack mountable desk that's it's pretty much, it's almost like a DIY product. I just had one made because before, when I first started doing these interviews and stuff for Garage Gym Life, I would do them from the gym. I didn't have an office, so the gym was my office, and so I needed a desk. And so every now and then, you guys will still see me bring out that desk. It's rack mountable, but it mounts to one upright, whereas the Bells of Steel Hydra desk, from what I remember, in fact, I'll just go ahead and pull it up now. The Hydra desk goes, yeah, I'll show you guys right now in case if you haven't seen it already. But the Hydra desk, so if you're listening on Podbean, you can find it by going to Bells of Steel on Instagram at Bells of Steel. And it's the last thing most recent thing they posted. But yeah, it mounts up between the Hydra sections. So basically it's Hydra uprights. So that's kind of different. I like it. It looks to me like it would definitely have to be like a standalone piece, which is the only reason why it doesn't work for me. But I love that you can roll it around. It's got wheels on it. So I like that. I like that part of it. And I've been meaning to get their utility hooks too. Just to be able to hang random stuff up. I just thought about it because I saw that in the video. All right, so there you go. So that's the promo for the Hydra desk. All right, it's 8:57, almost time there. All right, so we got a little bit more time. You guys go ahead and keep the questions coming. I don't see Kaevon backstage yet, so I'm just waiting to see him pop on here. And let me make sure. Occasionally, I have forgotten to do this, but I'm pretty sure I did not this time. Okay, yeah, I just make sure. I'm making sure I send him the link because I have forgotten to send the link to people in the past. All right, so yes. So I did everything I'm supposed to. All right, we're good to go. To this here. And he's not a. So now, Rory, let's go back to the guy from Kabuki real fast. You're saying he's not a gym guy. How did you find out that this Rich Galgano guy is not a gym guy? I'm curious how you found that out. Because I really do want to hear his background. And if he's like a guy who works out, but he doesn't like the gym, so maybe he does like, you get the people who like to lift like natural stones or something, or he's more into calisthenics. That's fine. I'm just saying, like, I want to know, like, he looks like he works out, so I don't. I can't believe that he doesn't lift at all. You want to know the Arnold, which serves Bells of Steel better, the Arnold or Home Gym Con? That actually is an interesting question too. I like you got these are some good questions. I'll probably end up throwing away all my questions and just ask him all the stuff that you guys want to know. All right. So here we go here. Nope, wrong thing. 58. Guys. Let him know we're ready. ready for him on the live stream. All right. Now, I want you to know that if he does not show up, I'm fully prepared to end the stream, reach out to him, and reschedule him. But because it's 8:59, and this is like the worst part, like where you're waiting and you're like, okay, is this the day where somebody's internet went down or something bad happened or whatever? So yeah, this is it. But keep the questions coming. So oh, that's a good one. Carp wants to know what's the best-selling item of all time for Bells of Steel, or what's the best-selling item within the past year. That's interesting too. So I got you. I understood what you meant, Carp. What I am curious about that question is because obviously what sells the best for you is going to affect what you design next. Eric's got his new teeth. Yay, Eric's got new teeth. Eric is signing. He's got his new teeth. This is a momentous day. Eric has his new teeth. Yay, Eric. I'm very happy for you. You do not have to send me pictures of your new teeth, but I encourage you to post your pictures of your new smile on Instagram. Everybody go follow at Eric under, wait a minute. Is it under you on Instagram? Post it on Instagram and send me the link, and then I'll tell everybody to go check it out. But right now, we're going to say good morning to everybody on the West Coast, and then we're going to bring on our guest. All right. And the first question I'm going to ask him is related to what you asked, is your proposal, Jay. I'm going to go ahead and put that out to him. I'm going to tell you now, he's going to tell you no. Okay. But I said I would ask him whatever you guys wanted me to ask him. So I'm going to ask him, but I don't want you to get your hopes up. So get your hopes down. He's going to say no. All right. So first of all, shout out to the West Coast. It is 9:01 here for me, but it's 6:01 for you. Thank you for getting up way too early with Garage Gym Life. And I am Jon Black III. It's a Garage Gym Life production. And I need for you guys, if this is your first time here, to hit that subscribe button for me. If you've already been here in the past, still hit like for me at least. And also, if you'd like to support the channel in other ways, if you're already a subscriber, you can click that join button, become a member to support the channel and help us continue to get good information out there for you guys, make the channel grow. It basically, that kind of support is what makes this whole thing go. The other thing that makes this whole thing work is the fact that you guys are active in the chat. So if this is your first time on here, do not be shy. Throw your comments and questions in the chat, and I'm going to respond to them. But right now, let's go ahead and welcome on our last guest of the day, the man himself, the legend. The last time I saw you, I hugged you. I can't hug you this time, but I can just say welcome.
Yeah, thanks. Well, yeah. Good to
Do you have
here.
a cold again?
No, I just rolled out of bed. So
I'm about to say, like, you had a cold the last time you were on here. I'm like, how are you always sick when I see you?
Just sleeping.
Hey, can't have any of that. Hey, do I need to say, wake up, wake up, wake up?
Hello. Hello.
Hey, man, I appreciate you being here, dude. We have got 18 questions already for you from just in addition to the questions I sent you. So what we're going to do is we're going to replace some of my questions with some of the stuff that they wanted to know. Okay.
Okay.
So let's see here. Let's see here. All right. So we're going to go to the starter questions. So before we get to them, you just did an AMA on our home gym. And it looks like you had a ton of responses, but you also had questions for the members of the subreddit, okay? And I asked some of those same questions to the people who are watching on here as far as the things you wanted to know. But did you get good feedback from the AMA to the questions you asked, like about the about the app and all the other things that you, and then also the equipment, your equipment focus for next year?
Yeah, it actually worked really well because I think in a lot of those AMAs, like, people want to participate and they want to get an entry, to win the prize. the prize available, and so just kind of giving those like engaging questions, which are three they are three things that I'm like, huge projects that I'm about to start working on. So it was cool to get a ton of feedback on them. Wasn't necessarily the answers I wanted, but I guess that's not the point of it. Most people were not interested in single station equipment. Most people were like, nope, the mug ship has sailed. And then same with the app. Actually, the app was kind of funny. A lot of people were like hard line against the app. Like, I don't want to pay it for another subscription. Or I liked one person, they said, I like working out because it's analog. I don't want any digital stuff around. So yeah, not exactly the answers I wanted, but the answers I got.
Okay, well, I believe I can. It's interesting because I asked those same questions here. All right. And Carp said, I would like to see an app like the Juggernaut AI, but that does strongman training. So he is interested in an app from you guys, depending on what it provides. Because the thing that I was saying is that apps that are fitness apps now, to me, they are limiting in that if you do something that's kind of outside of the normal gym workout, a lot of times those apps don't have a way for you to put it in there easily. So you end up doing more work than you would have if you just did a simple Excel spreadsheet like we used to use. So so I think that's where that one came from Cart. All right. And before, and then you said something about the mug. Okay. So the mug did not get a bunch of, you don't have a lot of fans on here for the mug. But we did have, Jared did say, why not a limited release? Like 50 or 100 units. Maybe it's something you have only when you go to like Home Gym Con or the Arnold or something. And then it's kind of like, now it's, now people want it because it commemorates, like a band, like a concert t-shirt.
Yeah,
I want it because of I went to this thing and got it, not just because of what it is. You know what I mean? So I think that. So I think there's potential there for that. I am interested to see somebody using the mug, forget that there's liquid in it, hook it up to the cable, and then try to use it. I feel like that would be not good, but interesting for me to watch anyway. All right. So since you don't mind taking questions, I put out a request for questions, as I said, when I schedule you. And I've got 2 questions from 2 different anonymous sources. They want to be anonymous. All right.
Okay.
So they said, Kaevon, what do you never leave the house without, but leave everywhere?
You know those you know these things, the little philosophy things. Yeah. All
right. So I cannot. I told you I cannot reveal my sources, but they also. This is a follow-up. Different person.
Okay.
I can't tell you my sources. I can tell you it wasn't Kat, but I just want to say they also want to know if you've ever figured out how many of those flossers you go through in a single day.
Oh man,
you see that I've infiltrated your company.
Yeah, sounds like it. You got a mole.
I can't reveal my sources. I can't reveal my sources.
Sometimes, so if I got like a fresh batch, I got a new I got like a new package, I'm just like blasting through them. But then sometimes I'll run out and I won't go to I'll just keep forgetting to go to the store, and I'll use like the same crusty one for like
that's
like
not
days.
good.
I give it a little rinse, like a toothbrush. Wash like toothbrush.
Oh, that's nasty work. No, that's nasty work. Don't do that anymore. Don't do that anymore. I like how you said if I have a fresh batch.
Yeah, that's fresh.
Fresh out the oven. Okay.
Awesome. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's horrible. All right. So we have a request in the spirit of this flosser thing. I didn't think that this was going to be as apropos. You have an offer from Jay, 619 driver. Jay said, if you shave your beard, he will gladly purchase the entire manicure ecosystem.
Like a 6 post, like an 8 post,
He
like
said
a
the
big
manicure
drop,
everything. So I'm
whole
assuming
thing.
everything you got that says manicure, he's willing to get, because he said ecosystem. He didn't say the manicure. He said the ecosystem. And I'm not sure. See, Jay is new to home gym ownership, so I'm not sure that he understands how vast the manicure ecosystem is. But it's too late because he already made his offer. So
Okay,
you can put your kids through college right there if you just shave your beard one time. He never said you couldn't let it grow back.
Like a full shave, like with a razor, or just with like a.
I'm thinking we're going full send with this beardless thing, but you could let it grow back. You just got to shave it. You got to just shave it completely. Pictures, or it didn't happen, and then, and you got to hold a flosser so we know it's you, and then he's gonna buy. He's committed. He's got to buy the entire manicure ecosystem.
All right, let me see this weekend, because I'm always selling, always trying to sell.
All right.
Let me see if I can A, get it done this weekend, or B, find a good AI program where I can.
There you go. There you go.
Make it look like I did.
There you go. Yeah, if I were you, I'd go with the AI program. Is you spend a lot of time, cultivating that. That's not just one day's work.
I have such a baby face too. Like when I shave, it's like just.
Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Do you get carded if you don't have a beard?
No, I wouldn't go that far. And then I also have like a super weak chin. Like I don't have like a chin.
Okay.
But I do have like a double chin, so there's no single chin. There's just a double.
So it's spread out across 2 chins. Okay.
It's just all the chin went into I don't know. It's like they misplaced where the chin was supposed to go. But
Okay. All right. Well, there's a lot going on in that.
Yeah.
I didn't anticipate getting all of that from that question.
Yeah.
All right. So one of the things I did to get ready for this conversation was I watched your AMA warm-up with Joe. And honestly, man, this like jumped out to me. This is like my favorite quote. And I don't know if you really it seemed like you were just kind of like you were on your way to saying something else. And you kind of just mentioned this in passing, right? But it stuck out to me. You said, we design for the home gym first. And commercial gyms can also buy it because it's really high quality, but it's for the home gym first and foremost. So talk about how that approach influences the types of equipment that you put development resources into at Bells of Steel, because you were asking questions about what people would want. But you asked the home gym community, hey, do you guys have interest in single station, niche stuff? You didn't go to a commercial gym and say, hey, all these commercial, like at Ursa, hey, would you guys be interested in these or whatever? You came to us first. So talk about why you have that approach and how that influences the types of equipment that you put your development resources into.
So I think the why is just like, I guess kind of just like a refocus I had earlier this year where I think like different departments of the company were maybe trying to like, including product. I'll use product because product is where I hang out a lot. We were like straying a little bit, starting to stray from what we know is best. Because like when you start becoming like successful, like we're doing really well and building a brand and whatever, and then all of a sudden you're like, well, we can sell. Like people know us now, like we're a brand. Why don't we just start selling anything we can get our hands on, right? Like let's just start selling ellipticals, and let's just start selling treadmills, and let's just start selling whatever, because people just know. And my little brother works for me, and he's very into like apparel, like streetwear and kind of fashion scene and brand stuff, and he really pushed me on. Like trying to refocus in different areas and being like, yes, you can just sell anything you get your hands on, but it's going to kind of diminish and get short-term sales and short-term profits, but it's going to kind of diminish your brand over time and lead to less success in the long term. And so he really pushed to get that clarity of like, who are you speaking to, who are you catering to, and make sure that everything that you are doing is designed with that persona at the forefront. So that was kind of, actually, I forget what your first question was now.
No, I'm just saying, like, how does that affect what you put your resources into?
Oh, and then the second part of it, and again, I'm speaking for product. It does suck up a lot more resources because, like, I'll take, for example, like a pendulum squat, or even like the AMA I did, but like pendulum squat, I was like, let's do a pendulum squat. And I was like, I can't really think of a way to like make it multi-purpose, right? So that's one of the things we have in the product team, like brand focus or whatever, is like we craft multi-purpose space efficient equipment. And I know pendulum squats are kind of like hot right now.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's just get one to market. And then I was like, well, it's not very multi-purpose, it's not very space efficient. Like, let's take some time actually trying to engineer something that hits that. But the problem is when you do that is you spend a lot of time and engineering, like just trying to figure out like, how are we going to do this? And then sometimes that doesn't even go anywhere. So you've spent all these resources developing something that you can't even make work. And but anyway, so it takes extra time, takes extra money, doesn't actually always go anywhere, delays like putting something out, so you might like miss the trend of pendulum squats in general. But if we do nail it, then it becomes like a really great evergreen piece of equipment. So and then I guess part of that AMA too was like, I've been leaning towards like, oh, come on. Like, I know like a lot of these single station pieces are trending right now, and people, we saw a ton of lat pull downs and we saw, a ton of leg extensions. People are crazy about leg extensions. Let's just do more single stuff. But it's pretty evident that we need to take the time to make them multi-purpose and space efficient, not just blast out whatever we can get our hands on. So yeah, that's how it kind of affects it. And then the pendulum, for reference, the pendulum squat, we work with an engineer named Adam quite a bit, and he managed to cut.
Is that the guy I met?
Yeah. You met him.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, you
he
met him.
He just had a PR, I think, actually. I just happened to see his Instagram. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so he's cooked up a design of a 3-in-1 pendulum squat, and I'm pretty excited to see if it actually works.
Nice. Is he like from? He's like from. I know he's Eastern Europe. Is it Poland or where's he?
Yeah, he lives in Poland, but it's funny because
I remember it. All right, see that? See?
Yeah,
right.
But he's got like a fancy British accent, I guess, because like his like English teacher had a fancy British accent, so now he has a fancy British accent.
Okay, that's funny right there. So he's actually Polish. He's a native Polish speaker, but because his English teacher was British, he speaks English with a British accent.
Yeah.
So he comes to America from Poland, and everybody thinks he's English.
That's right. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Okay. So let me. So we got some comments in the chat here. Oh, okay. So we have a thing about. So first of all, it's pendulum squat. He said put handles on the back and make it a Viking or shoulder press machine. So there's that. And then you've got some solidarity there on the Team No Chin. So from Jared, who actually, and let me, I'll go ahead and I'll do this now so I can show Team No Chin what he's got going on. So this is his Bells of Steel stuff here. Let's get rid of that right there.
Yeah,
so he sent over some of his stuff, man. I think that's it's kind of cool. Let me see. I know I've got I think I got some more.
Yeah. Oh, I met him at Home Gym Con and he was showing it off to me, and then we picked him as the Home Gym of the Month.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
Yeah, he's got a really cool setup.
Yeah, he's got a ton of stuff that he was sending me. I was just like, man, there's a lot. Oh, here's so we got this right here. He's got like and see, that's the trap bar
Yeah, that's the
That
notorious.
before I got the
notorious
open trap
one.
offer from you guys, this was the industrial. That's the beefy one. That's I was like, man,
Yeah.
I missed
Yeah.
out on getting that one, but just man. So we've got a question for you, and it says, who is that on your logo? Because he said he thinks that it's Basement Brandon. I don't necessarily know if that's the case, but who's the person that you use for the logo?
That's
Some random logo.
Definitely not Basement Brandon. I think Basement Brandon was. I don't know if he was on the scene yet back in 2010 when I would have had that cooked up. He was probably still. I don't know, what did he do before he lifted weights? Played soccer or something. I think I heard. No,
I think so.
No,
even then he started out in a commercial gym.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I actually he might have been going 2010. Anyways, 2010 or 2009, I got the logo done. It was just
basketball
a guy.
player. Eric says he's a basketball player. That's what it
basketball
makes sense.
player.
I mean, he's freaking tall.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, it was just the guy I found to do a logo on.
It's basically clip art
on Craigslist. Kind of like Craigslist. There's one called Kijiji. It's this Canadian Craigslist.
Okay.
And he made it. And maybe it was, I don't know, I don't know where he got it from. I don't know who it is. Me. Maybe it's me. Some people ask if it's me.
You. Okay.
I'm like, yeah, sure.
We'll just go with that.
Yeah.
We'll just go with that.
No, it's not. Right. I don't think it's me. It's just a guy.
Well, if anyone is curious about what the history of Kaevon is, I'm going to show you guys. We're going to go back to memory lane because looking back at where you started, you were selling kettlebells out of the trunk of your Ford Festiva, and just saying Ford Festiva right there is awesome, right? That's not the biggest car, so you're selling kettlebells out the trunk of your Ford Festiva. Did this guy right here ever dream? Let me see if I can pull this up here. Did this guy ever dream that he was on the ground floor of building what would be one of the most recognizable strength brands in North America? I mean, look at that. That's a hero right there. That's a legend.
Yeah. Even a breeze, nice breeze for my old. I miss that hair.
That's majestic, man. Look at you.
Yeah. When I first started, I didn't really think about that. It was mostly more of like a side hustle. But I think when I was a few years in and I started getting really serious about it, I knew it would come eventually. Just didn't think it would come this soon, as cocky as that is to say.
Right.
And
I mean, no, that makes sense because I've seen so many companies come and go just in the past 3 years. Like it's a tough market, man. It's tough to get a foothold. Yeah. So that's not cocky. That's just like, hey, I'm alive. It's like, wake up. Like, we're not dead. We're not dead. Okay, good. So that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. I think, just a matter of time and just super into the scene and dedicated and focused. I think too, in this world, not so much home gym equipment. Like a lot of other companies I've met and company owners have been really nice guys. But I'm sure as like a trainer, I know you do a lot of training, like the fitness industry. Maybe it's all industries. Like it's only the only industry I've really worked much in is there's a lot of egos, a lot of big, massive egos.
God, yeah. Because people start believing. You see it at the Arnold. Everybody thinks they're a celebrity, because it's you got to stand in line and pay them for them to sign their name on something. I'm like, dude, relax, okay? Nobody's gonna know who you are. I'm not paying you for something. They're like, oh, that's a picture of like who? Like, most people gonna be like, who are you? Nah.
Yeah. But I think that's been one really good thing I've done is, although I do have a massive ego, I think I take feedback extremely well and try and iterate and improve it constantly, while still, having a lot of confidence and ego. And my business partner is you've never met, I guess I don't think you've ever met him, but he's a really smart guy. We went to high school together. He's very successful before he joined Bell Steel, and in high school he got voted. I don't know. This is like most likely. I think his most likely was like to join NASA or something. So
Oh wow.
So it's a good duo, and then with that we built out a really great team too, and a lot of passionate people, and I just kind of knew it was a matter of time.
Well, man, I mean, I recommend Bells of Steel stuff actually all the time. I buy you guys this. I mean, of course, yes, full disclosure, you guys have sent me stuff, but I also buy stuff all the time. So, for example, I just bought your change plate peg because
nice.
I needed it. Well, I just got a rack in, and the rack I got to do a review on, and the rack I got didn't have enough weight horns. And I was like, well, we could just get some more weight horns from them. But actually, I think the Bells of Steel change plate peg would work better because it's just for my change plates. So we just ordered it. It got here just like that. So I recommend you guys the stuff all the time. Another reason I do that, though, is because I'm going to talk about your customer service, and then I'm going to go to the questions that people have in here. Is like, so you say that you're a self-described lurker on our home gym, just for example, right? You've got all this other stuff going on in your day, but you're on there. And I noticed that even if somebody has like a customer complaint on social media or whatever, you guys just like that, you're jumping on it like, hey, send me an email, tell me more about your problem. I just sent you a DM, whatever. And like you reach out to try to fix the problem. That's why I recommend you guys to people. Because I don't expect, we live in an imperfect world. I don't expect your company, you're shipping out thousands of product to never have a problem. What I expect is that a company that I recommend is going to fix problems when they occur. And you guys fix stuff even when, it's not necessarily your fault. You know what I mean? So that is something that I like about it. Is being able to respond to complaints like that a benefit of the fact that you are so active personally and your staff on social media?
Yeah. And even though like I'm watching for stuff like that, and even though I'm not like in the customer service on a day-to-day basis anymore, that stuff is the stuff that I like to get involved with and help take care of, because those problems are usually like so severe that customers like so frustrated that they actually take that time to go and make a post and like really vent their issues and whatever. And usually when you dig into it, there's it's like a symptom of like a deeper root problem that we're having, and I can kind of help activate getting that like root problem fixed sooner. So even though, like I said, even though I'm not like, there is more customer service stuff on a day-to-day basis that I'm not looking at, I like getting involved in those big ones, because usually it's like a mix of things, right? It's like, maybe it's like a new one of our suppliers is all of a sudden fallen off their the QC standards that we set for them, and or maybe it's a new carrier you've been working with or whatever. So often it's not even like the customer service team. I don't have any issues with how they deal with stuff, but oftentimes when it's those big problems that bubble up like that, it's something on the back end that I do want to get more involved in to like fix permanently. And being in touch with the community like that, it's just like people appreciate it. And just like I always like to think of it like this way too, from like customer service or design. We'll design, a lot of the design goes into designing with like guys like you, like more detailed reviewers, right? Or you or Glock or whatever, or Coop, people who are like notice all these little things, even though most of the people buying the equipment don't necessarily care that much about it. but they listen to you and they watch you and see what you're saying, and it's kind of like the same thing, right? So
it becomes a big deal because we said it's a big deal. And
you
so
said
now
it's a big deal,
Yeah.
yeah. So maybe if you could just bring your standards down a bit, but no. It's the same with customer service, like that Reddit issue, right? Like people are like this problem person has a problem, but there's a lot of people watching how you deal with it. So
right.
Yeah.
There. So I look at it too, like there's a second part about it too, and I'm not going to mention the specific account. I saw somebody post a negative review maybe 2 weeks ago on our home gym, and it was about some plates you guys shipped, right? So you don't have a shipping company. It's just like if I went down to the UPS store and sent something, I got zero control once I walk out the door, right? So you guys ship it, right? And he mentioned the thing that got me, and this is why it stuck out in my head, was he said in the review that he had emailed you guys, but he posted a negative review before you had a chance to respond. He said, yeah, I emailed him this morning. I'm like, dude, it's like 12:30 in the afternoon. You just emailed him, right? But he posted this negative review before giving you a chance to respond. Now, later on, he comes back because then I started watching the review, right, to see the progression. So then he posts later on that you guys made it right because you sent him another set. Number one, you guys will say, hey, we're sorry this happened. Then you said you sent him another set of plates, which means now he's got double the plates. So what he's probably going to do is sell the new ones, the ones that look good, and keep the crappy ones, whatever. Okay, that's fine, whatever. But the thing is, he put that information lower down in the review, like, okay, well, I'm updating the review. So, of course, all the comments only see the negative stuff. So all the comments are regurgitating the negative part of it, right? So for me, it's like, how frustrating is that for you, though, as an owner? Because you're like, okay, I know that's just human nature. And number two, but how do you not allow that to affect you on a personal level? Because you are still, a human being, and you're like, I'm trying to do all this stuff. Jared even mentioned about how your giveaways on the AMA and our home gym was, very generous. You've been very generous, even with stuff that you've done for us. But I see what you do in the community. So you're like, I'm trying to do all this stuff, and then everybody jumps on this negative one thing. Like, and I even made it right. I don't understand. So like, how frustrating is that for you as a business owner and just as a person?
I mean, nobody likes this. I don't know. It's not too bad. Like, I thought that post was like, yeah, okay, he didn't give us much time to like respond and deal with it.
Hold on, you know the post I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think I know the one you're talking about.
Okay.
But it also like, it kind of like, okay, so one, even though it's negative, it's still kind of like advertising for your brand. And if you deal with it correctly, then again, it becomes like something like a referential point that people will go in. Because like, I don't know about you, but like when I'm looking for reviews on stuff, or I'm looking to buy a new thing, and I'm looking for like actual experiences with it, not just like a bunch of 5-star reviews being like, this is great. I like to see how they deal with issues like this. And then two, it kind of lights a fire on your, like, it's almost like, they become your own internal, like spot checkers, or like QC analysts. Like I remember I had this one customer, he was intense, but he would like he would comb through our website and be like, there's this problem, and like I'm confused, and like, oh, why is this like this on your site, or like I'm trying to do this and I'm getting frustrated. And so he was like, he was a little too intense, but he was almost like a third party QA analyst, because he would go in and like find all these frustrating things for us to fix. And so it's kind of that same thing. It's like, this got through our QA somehow.
Right.
And now this time, it's lit a fire under our ass to go and make sure this doesn't happen again, add it as part of our QA system, and then it's lit a fire under the supplier's ass because I think there was like some of the paint was done wrong or whatever, and we're like, hey, this
you do know the one I was talking about.
This goes into your QA checklist. This doesn't happen again, and you're comping us for it. So that's another benefit too of like working with long-term suppliers is we're just able to hold them way more accountable, and they even though we do have our own internal QA stuff, they know any time that there's mistakes or screw ups, like everyone's paying for it. We're paying for it because we have to pay the customer. We get a bad review. They're paying for it because they got to fix it and they got to comp us whatever we have to pay for the customer, or at least part of it. So it's not too bad. The ones that get to me is maybe like the personal one. We've done some like more kind of whatever social ones or like celebrating whatever certain days, and gotten some pretty nasty feedback. And so that one,
they're mad because you like a holiday. Like, okay, that's always funny to me.
Yeah. So, anyways, but yeah, the just QA and QC and stuff like that. No, not too much.
So, all right, when you said that reminded me of a comedian. He was talking about when so Martin Luther King's birthday is a federal holiday, but they didn't want to make it a federal holiday in Arizona, right? And I think the thing was, this is a long time ago, so I'm trying to remember what he said. But he said basically, how racist do you have to be to turn down a day off at work? It's like, and so like when you said like this holidays, I'm like, who gets mad about who cares why it's a day off? It's a day off. Like, why are you mad that there's a day off for this thing? I don't care what it is, man. Like,
yeah. There's a lot of
that's hilarious.
But
so let's jump into some of these questions we got here because I want to make sure I get these. Everybody's been posting them, and I want to honor my commitment to ask them. Number one, Jared says you've been teasing an adjustable bench that's not black. I'm not sure if that's the buzzsaw or not, but what's the status of that?
Oh, that's not black. Yes. Okay. So, geez, I don't even know what status is offhand. I've got one in my gym right now, but yeah, we've got a couple colors coming out on the buzzsaw. Okay. I think just the buzzsaw coming out soon. I think I've got a blue one in the gym right now. I probably just have to give it a thumbs up. Soon, real soon.
Soon. All right.
Dude, real soon.
We had, I don't know if Joyce is still on here. Joyce was actually at Home Gym Con with her husband. They had an invention they were trying to get a developer for. I don't know if you guys met him, but this it's funny because you guys are kind of like always innovating stuff, and I think that Michael's invention would be something that you guys could intersect with. But regardless, she was talking about women's bars, and she's like, she made the point that it's not enough to just put pink on a bar and say it's a woman's bar. There's got to be more than that. And I brought up like the diameter thing, and all that. And so that leads to the fact that you guys just dropped the Juno bar, which is a woman's bar today. So go ahead, free commercial. Go ahead and tell me about the Juno bar.
Yeah, it's basically our utility bar, which is one of our best-selling, like, kind of all-around bars, and then just the length and diameter. The diameter is, I think, 25 millimeter, and the length is, I can't remember the exact length, but it's basically set to like the IWF standards. The IWF, National Weightlifting Federation, has women's bars standards for competition and men's bar. And so we've been selling a women's Olympic weightlifting bar for a long time. That's IWF spec. Right. But Olympic weightlifting bars they're not doing great. They're just Olympic weightlifting is just on the decline. So we're like, okay, same with the men's one, like, for a long time. So more people are more looking for like an overall bar. So like, okay, let's take our best selling.
What's the difference between that and this? So this is more of a all-around bar, multi-purpose bar.
Yeah. So like the women's weightlifting bar is, it's got needle bearings in it, and a little bit different of a knurling pattern. and it's more expensive because those needle bearings are pricey. And so yeah, it's a lot more spin in the sleeve. And then this is just the same as our utility bar, so it's a bushing instead of a needle bearing, and same coating as utility bar. So you got the black zinc and the white zinc, and then but then the same specs. And that's my wife, and then Juno is my daughter. So yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
So that's it right there. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm scrolling now for that because you said, yeah, it is a 25 millimeter shaft. Okay.
Yeah.
It's got the light medium knurl, but it does have knurling in the middle. Nice.
Yes.
Good deal, man. All right. So then we got two questions about leg extension, leg curl. The first one is it's just a comment, says you've got a rack attached leg curl, leg extension. That's from Carp. But Onan wants to know, what's your ETA on the leg extension leg curl machine?
So the a quick history of this is sometimes when I do bring on a new partner, like a new factory, it's because I'll find like a piece, when I'm searching online, that I'm like, that piece is like 80% of the way there. I know what to do to change it and get it 100%. And then I take that risk to work with a new factory. And that's kind of the case with the leg extension. I found a factory that was already selling like kind of a model similar to the one I've been working on, and just needs some modifications. But it ended up being like a waste of 8 months. They were not even remotely to the standard that I'm used to working with, and so I kind of had to scrap the whole project and learn my lesson the hard way, and then start from the ground up with one of my existing factories. Who doesn't have experience, hasn't made one of these machines before. I mean, not that it's rocket science, but so we had to kind of engineer one together and kind of start all over again, which is what pushed this so far. But it had to be done, right?
But you also it's not rocket science, but you also have to work around patents to make sure that you don't infringe on somebody else's patent. Because I mean, there's thousands of probably variations of leg extension, leg curl, but you put all this money into it. If somebody sues you over it, then now you're back at square one.
Yeah,
it's a little bit more complicated. So
there is, definitely. Like, we're always, double checking, making sure we do not infringe. I work continuously with a patent attorney on new projects, and but yeah, in this case, we kind of have to start all over again. And then I finally got a sample just the other day, 2 days ago, and I've been testing it out, and it's.
Are you about to sneeze or yawn at the same time?
I'll be honest, sorry.
I'm like, did you just sneeze and yawn at the same time? We made history.
And it's really close. It's really close to being done. There's just a couple things in the wrong spot, a little bit of a change I want to make on the leg holder, and then but I want to make sure I get it right.
Okay, I don't knock that at all, man. So as far as the single, I don't know if I showed you this, but the Jared said that he thinks that there is a market for these single purpose items, like the chest press and all that. He said it's just a matter of the space efficiency. Because, and I will say too, let me see here. I am seeing more than one manufacturer say, hey, we want to go away from all-in-one machines and rack mountable attachments, because there is a group of, there's a segment of the home gym population that has space. I know my guy Jose, another person I know, Big Ant DeAngelis, he's a bodybuilder he was bodybuilding like the 80s. So his entire basement is a gym. He's got, so the entire, basically the same width and all that of his house circumference of his house is essentially gym space. So he's got room for all this stuff. Whereas, if you're thinking, which is why I always say you can't just say garage gym when you think of home gym, because you got people who've got, maybe they don't have ceiling clearance, but they've got a lot of space going, spread out. And so to that end, do you think that this is a case of the industry recognizing that there are home gyms that have space for this kind of stuff? Or is it some other reason why people are saying, hey, let's do the individual chest press machines or the pec deck, or or like my favorite is like the seated calf, because that's very difficult to mimic. Like a seated, or even a donkey calf machine. There's really very few ways to rig up a donkey calf raise. You know what I mean?
You know what? I think it is. I think it's the same as our like historic single station machines, even a belt squat, even though you can use a belt squat for other stuff technically,
Right.
or like a leg press. These we do have some single station machines. So I think it's just a matter of people, once they've kind of built out their core stuff, their rack, their bench, their bar, whatever, adding that one single station piece that's important to them, even if they are limited on space. So yeah, we're kind of doing it already with those examples like Gabe. And I guess this would just be like adding some additional options, because maybe there's people out there, they want that spot that if they can only get one single station machine, they want a seated row, or they want a pec deck or whatever. So I guess I kind of look at it, or preacher curl bench.
Or they want to just put it right next to their couch.
Oh, put it right next to their couch. So that's what I think it is, more than just like, oh, we've got a huge space. It's just like, I got space in my small space for one dedicated piece.
Yeah, that's in Jared's basement, by the way.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Like that was just the perfect spot to say it, to put it up. Okay.
But I sorry, I got to run. I got a hard stop at 7:45.
No problem.
Because you booked me for I got to walk my daughter to school.
Dude, that's way more important to me and everything else. All right, I'll keep track. No, I'm serious, man. I'm family first. Okay, so what I'll do is I will keep the questions that are here, and can you just come back? Just come back.
You want me to just come back?
Well, I don't mean today. I mean,
okay. Okay.
Oh no. Okay. I mean, like, just. I think actually I have next week. I might have a slot for next week. Just the same thing. I'll send it back to you and you just come back. All right. Okay. I appreciate you the time you can spend, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, thanks a lot.
All right, man. Later, Kaevon.
Okay, talk to you soon.
All right, man. Later. All right, so y'all just heard what I promised. You can see like that was Kaevon's one of our most popular guests, right? So there's always tons of questions. So I've got the questions listed still that you guys have in there. And so what I'm doing is, so like this one here where Jay, you said you'd love to see a belt squat set up like Titans. What I'm doing right now, or what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and we'll end the show. I'll wrap up the comments I have and that you guys have just posted. I'm going to end the show, but I will still have all of your questions. I'm going to put those questions into a Word doc where I normally put the other questions, send them to Kaevon, and then we'll book. You just heard us book him to come back. So we'll book him to come back and get him to answer those questions at that time. Okay. So I apologize to you guys, but as you said, as you can see, he had a hard stop at 7:45. He had to get out of here, or 7:45 his time. So he had to get out of here. I appreciate everyone who is here right now, who hung out. Let's see. So Eric said, I like Bert Soren's rack. It's lowering the back and angles up like 10 inches on the front uprights. I haven't seen that. I need to go check it out. But Eric said, I need a donkey calf rack attachment. Jared says the seated calf raise is easy to mimic in his opinion. Okay. So I don't mean that I've never done them. What I mean is with a donkey calf raise machine, it's very easy. It's a lot easier to load enough weight for it to give me the training effect. And it's and just as important, it's very easy to unload. I've seen a few different ways to do it, and I've tried a few different ways to do it, but none of them are as convenient as a dedicated seated calf machine. And in terms of bang for your buck, a seated calf machine doesn't give me enough of a training effect to justify using up that much space for it, right? I could see potentially if there was one that wasn't too big, we could get rid of our leg extension, leg curl machine, get a rack attachment, leg extension, leg curl rack attachment, and put the seated calf machine in that space. Like I would probably put a donkey calf machine in that space if there was one, because that's also very difficult to rig up with enough weight for it to make sense. Especially since I don't and won't have a Smith machine. But yeah, there you go. Or even a Smith machine attachment. I'm not into that. But yeah, all right. And Luis Patino, who's going to be on next week, actually. Luis is going to be, I guess, next week. He said, I feel that's what Temple of Gains Fitness is doing, single station machines with a smaller footprint and top quality. I agree. Yeah. That's what I'm saying is like, I see a trend with a lot more of this, but as you guys heard Kaevon say, he thinks that it's recognizing that once people have built out the basics, they always have like that one spot and they're willing to, put a dedicated single or maybe two function machine in that place. Because think about it, when the functional trainers came out, before we started having rack attached functional trainers, we had the functional trainer attachments like Force USA, right? I think was the first one to come out with one. That's a standalone piece. And yeah, you can do multiple things with it, but it's still a standalone piece that doesn't go on the rack. So I think it's that kind of idea. And I mentioned that we have a leg extension, leg curl in our gym downstairs that kind of fits in that same wheelhouse. Let's see. It said, make it a YouTube video, just me and him, rapid fire Q&A with Kaevon. I like that, man. But to go back to what I was saying earlier, I like the organic nature of this. I like the interaction with you guys. And what I'll do differently, though, this time is instead of the questions I was going to ask him, I'm just going to basically it just be all of you guys' questions, because there may be more questions, right? So if I post, let's say I posted that video where it's just me asking him questions rapid fire, what's going to happen is people will ask more questions in the comments. So then, it's just a never ending thing. So while that would be great for my YouTube engagement, I like the fact that I can get people to come on and just answer questions and interact with you guys. So I like that a lot better. All right. So anyway, Luis, I see that question about the functional trainer, and I saw your question, Jared, about whether Kaevon owns equipment that's not Bells of Steel. So I'll put all that in there. All right. Well, man, let me go ahead. This is once again another awesome episode, Luis. I'm glad that you were able to check it out. Now you kind of get an idea what you have in store next week. As I said, coming up next week, Garage Gym coach Luis Patino and Marisa Roy from Permanent Change Coaching will be returning. So we've got Luis coming up first, and then Marisa will be finishing out the show next week. And if I can get Kaevon to come back on, see if I can get him to come on a little bit earlier, then we'll do that. If not, we'll just schedule him for a later date. Make sure you guys follow at Garage Gym Life on Threads, because that's where I give you guys the latest information about not only what's coming up on the show, but also what's going on behind the scenes. All right. Thank you all for being here. Let me double check, make sure one more time. And John said, thank you. I just want to say thank you again for having me on. I'll definitely be back to catch the show regularly. John, man, that's all I ask. And it was a pleasure having you on, man. It was a pleasure meeting you and your family. Thank you for taking time to come on my show. Eric said I sent you the Bert Soren rack video on Instagram. Okay, cool. Hang on. Let's see here. Let's see if I see it. Did it? Eric Eccles sent an attachment. All right, so let's go. All right, so I'll go ahead and I'll screen share it. That way everybody gets to see it. I think that's it right here. All right, so that's it. So the rack is higher in the front than in the back. That's interesting. I'm not a fan of lever arms, but I like the way that I actually like how the storage on the back looks. That's kind of cool. All right, that's interesting. I wonder if they'll have something like that at Home Gym Con in 2025. It's pretty cool. All right. Appreciate it, Eric. All right. Then Iron Fortitude said, Jonathan, Jennifer Black, let's go, baby. All right. Hey, Iron Fortitude, thank you for checking out the show, man. Appreciate you being here. Make sure you come back next week too. Before you guys go anywhere, make sure you hit like, hit subscribe, share this episode so people see what they're missing out on, so they can be here next week when everybody gets up way too early with Garage Gym Life.